word.
Ay, Efesios capítulo 6.
Ephesians chapter 6.
Iglesia,
Church.
levántate con coraje.
Get up with courage
Arranca tus pensamientos humanos y débiles.
and tear out your weak and human thoughts.
Arráncalo.
Tear them out.
¿Cómo tú quieres llegar al éxito si siempre estás quejándote por los problemas?
How do you want to make it to success if you're always complaining about the problems?
Mira, todo el que va rumbo a éxito
Look, everyone that is going towards success
sin disciplina
without discipline,
ya fracasó.
they already failed.
Porque ir a rumbo a éxito no es tener el éxito.
Because going towards success is not having the
Si
success.
tú no corriges lo que tienes que
And if you
corregir,
don't correct what you have to correct,
ya tú fracasaste.
you have already failed.
Dice así Efesios capítulo 6 verso 11 al
And
13.
Ephesians chapter 6 verses
Vamos a
11 to
continuar con
13
la
says.
segunda parte
We're going to continue with the second part.
de estas armas
These
que nos
weapons
van a ayudar
that are going to help us
a estos ataques del enemigo.
against these attacks of the enemy.
Y aprendimos la semana pasada que hay ataques del enemigo, pero hay ataques tuyos.
And we learned last week that there's attacks of the enemy, but there's attacks that are yours.
Mira, yo estaba diciendo,
Look, I was saying, let me read.
Dice así,
And it says,
pónganse toda la armadura de Dios para que puedan hacer frente a las artimañas del diablo. Porque nuestra lucha no es contra seres humanos, sino contra poderes, contra autoridades, contra potestades que dominan este mundo de tinieblas, contra fuerzas espirituales malignas en regiones celestiales. Por lo tanto, póngase en toda la armadura de Dios para cuando llegue el día malo puedan resistir hasta el fin con toda firmeza.
put on the full armor of God so that you could take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh or blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything, you stand.
Gracias, Señor, por tu palabra.
Thank you, Lord, for your word.
Gracias, Señor,
Thank you, Lord,
porque sé que nos vas a seguir usando con poder y autoridad
because I know that you're going to continue to use us with power and authority.
para bendecir tu pueblo,
To bless your
bendecir
people,
tus hijos
bless your children
en el nombre de Jesús.
in the name of Jesus.
Amén.
Amen.
Mira, hablábamos la semana pasada varios puntos.
Look, last week we were speaking on various topics.
No me quiero concentrar mucho
or
ahí.
points. I don't want to concentrate too
Si
much on that.
necesita notas de ese mensaje pasado,
If you need the notes from that past message,
cómprelo.
you could buy it.
Hay algo bien importante.
There's something that is very important.
Hay que resistir.
You need to resist.
La resistencia
The resistance
es señal.
is a sign.
Yo le estaba enseñando, que muchos de los muchachos aquí no lo conocen,
I was teaching, and many of the guys here don't know him.
a un hombre con una de las pegadas en el boxeo,
A man in boxing that had one of the
de las
hits,
pegadas más mortales.
one of the most mortal hits.
Lo llamaban el devorador de mandíbulas.
He was called the devourer of the jaws.
7 boxeadores fueron descalificados de por vida.
7 boxers were disqualified for life.
No pudieron volver al boxeo
They weren't able to return back to boxing
porque él les rompía la mandíbula en 2
because he would break their jaw in 2
y a veces hasta 3 y 4 costillas.
and sometimes even 3 or 4 ribs.
Un muchacho que desde pequeño
A young one that from a young age,
era un peleón.
he was a fighter.
Su papá se da cuenta y le dice,
His
tu
father
talento es
noticed
boxear.
and said, your talent is boxing.
Porque a veces queremos poner a nuestros hijos en lo que a nosotros nos gusta.
Because sometimes we want to put our children in what we like.
Eso se llama frustración.
That is called a frustration.
Y el muchacho
And this young man,
lo llevan al boxeo a los 10 años
he was taken to boxing at 10 years old.
para así un entrenamiento avanzado.
So that they
Digo,
can
de esto inesperado.
These trainings that are unexpected trainings.
Y boxea con un muchacho de 15 años
And he boxed against the
10
15-year-old.
años.
He was 10
y lo tira por nocaut.
and he knocked them out.
El entrenador dijo rápidamente,
The trainer said quickly,
este hombre,
this man
este muchacho
this boy
es peligroso.
is dangerous.
No podían ponerlo con sus edades porque los destrozaba.
They couldn't match him up with people of his own age because he would destroy them.
Este boxeador
This boxer,
entra al profesionalismo
he enters into being a professional
a los
boxer
14 años,
at 14 years old,
peleando con 19,
fighting against
20,
19-year-olds,
con hombres.
20-year-olds, with men.
Y su nombre, ¿verdad? Que muchos yo sé que no saben ni quién es, pero
And his name, I know many of you don't even know who he is.
creo que los que son de México sí
I
saben.
believe that those that are from
Ya
Mexico,
tienen que
they do
saber.
know, they already have to know.
El famoso Pipino Cuevas,
The famous Pipino Cuevas.
el devorador de
He
mandíbula.
was the devourer of the jaws.
Tenía un gancho de izquierda
He had a right hook,
que destrozaba a su oponente.
a left hook, excuse me, that would destroy his opponent.
La disciplina lo llevó allí
The discipline took him there
hasta el día que sube de peso.
until the day that he increased his weight.
Quiso alcanzar otra
He
categoría.
wanted to reach another category.
Hay veces que tú quieres alcanzar categorías
There's times that you want to reach categories
que no son tuyas.
that are not for you. They're not yours.
Y destronan y desplazan
And they will dethrone and they will
la
displace
dimensión en la que tú
the
perteneces.
dimension that you belong to.
Cuando a veces no entendemos los ataques del enemigo,
When we sometimes don't understand the attacks of the enemy,
es cuando no resistimos.
is when we don't resist.
La resistencia de ahora, yo, ¿verdad? Con mucho respeto,
The resistance of now and with a lot of respect.
el deporte en este momento,
Sports in this moment,
la mayoría de los eventos,
the majority of the events,
no es ni una cuarta parte de lo que era el deporte años atrás.
it's not even like a quarter part of what sports used to be years ago.
El boxeo,
Boxing.
cualquiera puede boxear ahora.
Anybody can box now.
Cualquiera puede boxear ahora.
Anybody can box.
Cualquiera.
Anyone.
Para los tiempos de Wilfredo Gómez,
Or the times of Wilfredo Gómez,
Pipino Cuevas,
Pipino Cuevas,
Zárate,
Zárate,
Sugar Ray Leonard,
Sugar Ray
Tommy
Leonard,
Hearn, Marvin Hagler,
Marvin Hagner.
y los con fuerza ahí. Son
Say it with
boxeadores,
strength.
son boxeadores
They're
buenos.
boxers, good boxers.
Mano de Piedra Durán,
Hands of Stone Duran.
el radar Wilfredo Benítez.
The radar Wilfredo Benítez.
Ahora no, ahora hay muchos nombres que ni les pega.
Not now. Now there's names that don't even match the
Ahí
person.
se subió uno que era el King.
There came
En
one
estos
up.
tiempos se subió uno a boxear que era el King.
He
Ese
went
era el
up to the
apodo,
ring
el
to fight.
king, el
The
king, el
king
rey.
was his nickname, the king.
Le meten una pela.
They gave him a beating,
Entonces dice que el uniforme era muy pesado.
and then he said that his uniform was too heavy for
Pues
him.
entonces, ¿por qué no hizo como David?
Well, why didn't he do like David
Digo,
did?
este uniforme no es para mí.
Why didn't he say this uniform is not for
¿Sabes? Las
me?
excusas de este tiempo
You know, the excuses that they have in this time
es porque no saben resistir.
is because they don't know how to resist.
Hay un pelotero
There is a baseball
que
player
le ofrecen 300 millones
that is offered 300
y
million.
él no ha querido aceptar
He has not wanted to accept
porque él vale más.
because he is worth
Pues si tú
more.
no tenías nada,
But you didn't have anything.
300 millones.
300 million.
Cuando tú no firmas un contrato de 300
When
millones,
you don't sign a contract for 300
tú
million,
no tienes pasión por lo que tú estás haciendo.
you don't have passion for what you're doing.
Tú estás interesado en un dinero
You're interested in
que no
some
está
money.
mal, que le
And
paguen
it's
lo que
not
quieran
bad.
pagarle. Yo no tengo
They can
problema.
pay him whatever they want to pay him.
O
I
sea,
don't have
deje
no
las
problem.
quejas de que el deporte está mal dividido porque usted no salió deportista.
You know, stop the complaints, you know, that sports are badly divided because you're not a
Que el
sports
dinero está
person.
mal
That
repartido
money has been given out wrong
porque usted ni bolines sabe jugar.
because you don't even know how to play marbles.
Que le paguen lo que le tengan que pagar. Eso,
Let them pay whatever they
eso es
have to
problema
pay.
de ellos, de las
That's their
asociaciones y
problem,
todo
their
eso.
associations and all
No
that.
critique,
Don't criticize.
porque yo no estoy criticando lo que le
Because I'm
pagan.
not criticizing what he gets
Estoy
paid.
diciendo,
I'm saying,
¿cómo es que tú logras tocar una esfera
how is it that you accomplish to touch an
y
atmosphere
tú no quieres firmar
that you don't want to sign
porque tú quieres ser el más pagado de tu país?
because you want to be the most paid in your country?
Eso no se llama pelear en contra de ti mismo
Isn't
por
that
tu
called
ego.
fighting against your own self because of your ego?
300 millones.
300
Y
million.
usted dirá, sí, ¿para qué eso no eres tú? No, no,
And
sí.
you might say, oh, but it's because it's
A
not
mí nadie
you.
me va a pagar 300
No,
millones
nobody's going to pay me 300 million
por jugar pelota porque
for
yo
playing baseball.
no estoy a ese nivel.
because I'm not at that
Pero yo
level.
voy a alcanzar más que él
But I'm going to reach more than him
sin los 300 millones.
without the 300 million.
Y voy a vivir y
And I'm
vivo
gonna
como
live,
él
and I live
sin los
like
300
him
millones.
without the 300 million.
Cuando tú resistes a lo que a lo que el enemigo quiere dañar tu pensamiento,
When you resist what the enemy wants to damage in your
tú vas
thoughts,
a perder grandes bendiciones.
you will lose
¿Y por
great
qué te
blessings.
mencioné todos estos boxeadores?
And why did I mention all of these boxers?
Porque lo estaba viendo con los muchachos
Because I was watching it with the
y ellos
guys.
decían, Diandre, pero esta gente está en el piso, te daban.
And they would say, oh, but these people,
No,
they
porque
hit
era para
you even if you're on
noquearte.
the ground. No, because it was to knock you out.
Era para que tú no te volvieras a poner de pie.
It was so that you would not stand ever again.
Entonces, la pelea era de 15 rounds,
So the fight would be 15 rounds,
un ring
one ring,
más grande que esto aquí.
a ring that was bigger than this here.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Y eso era desde que sonaba la
And
campana
that was from the moment that the bell rang
hasta que se terminaba
all the way until it would end.
a cantazo limpio.
And they were hitting one another.
Ahora agarra él,
Now they grab one another.
se lastiman un dedo y después tú los
If they get
entrevistas. No le
injured with
pude
a
dar,
finger, then you interview them and they say,
me
I
dolía la
couldn't hit him
mano,
because my hand was
me dolía
hurting.
un pie,
My foot was hurting.
anoche no dormí bien.
Last night I didn't have a good
Estoy
night.
teniendo problemas
I didn't
familiares.
sleep good at night. I'm having family problems.
Un hombre peleó
A man fought
9 rounds
9
con
rounds
su mandíbula partida
with his jaw broken
y 3 costillas rotas.
and 3 broken ribs.
¿Qué boxeador hoy
What boxer today
dura eso?
will last that?
Cada cual en su género, ¿verdad?
And everyone in their
Porque a lo mejor usted
in their
dice,
sport, right?
súbete tú al ring.
Because you're probably saying,
No
well,
que se
you go
baje el
into
del
the
ring
ring.
yo con un bate en las manos.
No, let him come out of the ring and I'm going to have a bat in my hands.
Si me meto en su esfera,
If I get into his
en su
atmosphere, in
territorio,
his territory,
claro que voy a perder.
of course I'm going to lose.
No tengo las
I don't
técnicas,
have the techniques.
no tengo la
I don't
condición,
have the condition.
no he practicado eso.
I have not practiced it.
Ahí es donde tú pierdes.
And there's where you
Cuando
lose.
tú te metes donde no te toca.
When you get into where it's not for you to get into.
Yo como persona puedo opinar
Me as a person, I can give an opinion
de aquellos tiempos a estos tiempos.
of those times to this time now.
No los va a ver, no va a haber
You're not gonna
boxeadores,
see them.
no va a haber baloncelistas,
You're not
no
gonna
va a
see
haber peloteros
basketball
como
players.
antes,
You're not gonna see
no va a
boxers,
existir.
baseball players. They're
Eso
not
ya
gonna exist
pasó.
like back in the day.
Ningún
That
pelotero,
already
ningún
passed.
baloncelista, ningún
No baseball
boxeador.
player, no basketball player, no boxer.
Mire esto,
Look at this.
mire esto.
Look,
Pastor, tú no sabes lo que está hablando.
Pastor, you don't know what you're talking about.
Lee y después hablamos.
Well, read and then we could talk.
Jim Thorpe,
Jim Trope,
indio estadounidense
he's an Indian from the United States,
de Oklahoma,
from Oklahoma.
discriminado por los propios suyos,
Discriminated by his own people,
por los extraños,
by
o sea,
the
otra
foreign
gente.
people and other people.
En los Juegos Olímpicos del 1912,
In the Olympic Games of 1912,
Jim representaba a su país en atletismo.
Jim was representing his country and being an athlete.
En la mañana de la competencia le robaron sus zapatos.
The morning of the competition, they stole his shoes.
Encontró unos,
He found some shoes,
de los cuales uno de los dos era demasiado grande.
which one of the 2 shoes, one was bigger than the
O sea, que
other.
era un par de zapatos que no eran pares.
So it was two shoes, but they were not a pair.
Uno le quedaba demasiado de grande,
One was extremely
por lo
big.
que tuvo que utilizar varias medias
And
extras.
on that shoe, he had to put on various extra
Con
socks.
esos zapatos
With those shoes,
ganó 2 medallas de oro.
he won 2 gold medals.
Cuando tú estás en lo tuyo,
When you are in what is yours,
te pueden robar todas las ideas que te roben.
they can steal away all the ideas that they
Te
can
pueden
steal.
robar todo lo que te quieran
They
robar.
can steal everything that they want
Pueden
to steal.
decir todo lo que quieran
They
decir
can
de
say
ti.
everything that they want to say about you.
Pero al final,
But at the end,
tú serás el victorioso.
you will be victorious.
Hoy, si no hay unos starters,
Today, if they don't have the starters,
si no hay unos ganchos
if they don't
específicos,
have some specific cleats,
si no son mandados a
if
hacer,
they don't custom make them for them,
no pueden correr.
they cannot run.
Porque hay gente que corre porque tiene un talento,
Because there's
en
people
lo que
that
sea, el
run
deporte que
because they have
sea,
a talent in whatever sport it is,
pero no tienen pasión.
but they don't have passion.
Cuando tú tienes pasión
When you have passion
sin zapatos.
without shoes,
¿Cuántos vieron la historia que eso hace muchos años
how many
también?
of you saw the story? That was many years ago too.
Un maratón.
It was a marathon.
Lo traen de otro país, de
They-
la África creo que
They
fue.
bring him from another country, from Africa, I think it was.
Un maratón gigante
A
en las
giant
Olimpiadas.
marathon
Estoy hablando
in the
más de
Olympics.
30 años atrás o
I'm
más.
talking about 30 years or more.
Se para en la carrera.
He stands in the
En un
race.
maratón de millas.
In a marathon of miles.
Se quita los zapatos
He takes off his shoes
y gana la carrera.
and he won the race.
Le preguntaron por qué hizo eso.
And they asked him, why did you
Yo
do
nunca
that?
me acostumbré a correr con zapatos.
He said, I never got used to running with shoes.
Cuando tú utilizas
When
la
you
moda
use
para verte bien,
The
siempre
styles
serás
and trends to
feo.
look good. You will always look ugly.
Cuando tú utilizas
When you use
lo que se está moviendo a tu alrededor,
what is moving around you.
Babe Ruth,
Babe Ruth,
uno de los hombres que más se ponchó,
one of the men that is struck
pero le
out the
rompieron
most.
los récords de horrores cuando.
But they broke his home run record when?
Hace unos días,
Just some days ago.
con inyecciones,
With
con bates
injections,
arreglados,
with bats that
con
were
gimnasio.
with the gym,
Y Babe Ruth salía
and Babe Ruth would come out
del juego
of the game
a beber.
to go and drink.
Salen retratos así,
Yeah, he comes out in pictures like this,
fumando cigarrillos.
smoking cigarettes.
Cuando tú tienes pasión,
When you have passion,
tú vas a resistir
you're going to resist
a toda tentación.
all the temptations.
Nada te va a mover.
Nothing will move
Por
you.
eso todo lo que te hablé el domingo pasado
That's why everything that I spoke about last
lo
Sunday,
quiero comenzar de esta
I
forma.
want to begin it this way.
Hay cosas
There's things
que nadie
that
te
no
va a
one
poder quitar
is going to be able to take
porque
from
tú
you
naciste para ello.
because you were born for it.
El problema
The problem
es que estamos más
Is
pendientes.
that we're paying more
Mira, le
attention
voy a dar un consejo.
Look, I'm gonna give you some
Cuando
advice.
tú tienes pasión,
when you have passion.
trabajar con gente con talento, sin
Working
pasión,
with people that have talent without the passion.
escribe,
Write it down.
es pérdida de tiempo.
That's a waste of time.
La pasión
The passion
te lleva a ti
will take you
a hacer que el día tenga 30 horas.
to make the day have 30 hours.
Eso es mucho para entenderlo.
That's a lot for you to be able to understand.
La pasión
Passion
hace
will make
que
it
después de Dios
that after God,
nada ocupe ese lugar.
nothing is going to occupy that place.
Criticaron a un atleta
They criticize an athlete
que ha marcado la historia también en el fútbol
that has also marked the history in football
porque le preguntaron
because they asked him,
por qué se va a divorciar
why
después
are
de
you going to
tantos
get
años.
divorced after so many years?
Y él dijo
And he said
que su pasión
that his passion
y su amor
and his love
es el fútbol.
is football.
Gente lo criticó.
People criticized him.
Oh, que la familia.
Oh, his family.
El problema es que si él le dijo a la esposa que eso era primero en su
The
vida,
problem is that if he said to his wife that that was first in his life,
ella tenía que vivir con eso toda su vida.
she had to live with that all of her life.
No, la familia es primero.
Oh no, the family is first.
Entiende bien lo que te dije.
Understand well what I said.
Dice así Lucas 4:13.
And Luke 4:13 says,
Y cuando el diablo hubo acabado toda tentación, se apartó de él por un tiempo.
and when the devil had ended all the temptation, he departed from him for a time.
Jesús estaba siendo tentado en el desierto
Jesus was being tempted in the desert,
y de la única forma que lo venció fue con la palabra de Dios.
and the only way that he was able to defeat was with the word of God.
Pero no significa que se acabó.
But it doesn't mean that it ended.
¿Sabe? Él tenía que volverse a enfrentar al enemigo.
He had to face the enemy again.
¿Cómo?
How?
Sencillo.
Simple.
Aquí está caliente, soy yo.
Is it hot in here or is it me?
¿Verdad? Ponme un poquito ahí de aire, por favor.
You know, put the air on a little bit, please.
No lo ponga tan frío tampoco.
But don't put it in here too cold neither.
Pero por lo que enfríe un poco
You
acá
know,
arriba,
just
que enfríe para acá
let it
arriba.
refresh up here a little bit.
¿Qué sucede?
What happens?
No porque tú venzas una prueba,
Not because you can defeat a trial.
escucha bien,
Listen well.
no porque tú venzas una prueba,
Not because you defeat a trial
vas a alcanzar
means that you're going to reach.
que el enemigo no te moleste.
That the enemy's not going to bother you. No
De la
more.
única forma que el enemigo no te va a
The
molestar
only way that the enemy is not going to
es
bother
cuando
you
tú dejas de hacer lo que Dios te mandó a hacer.
is when you stop doing what God has told you to do.
¿Sabe? Él sabía que se tenía que volver a enfrentar
He
al
knew
enemigo.
that he had to face the enemy again.
Tú tienes que grabarte en tu mente
You have to record in your mind
que tus batallas
that your
espirituales
spiritual battles
siempre,
They always,
escucha bien,
listen well,
tus batallas
your
espirituales
spiritual battles
siempre
there will always
son por una razón
be
específica
because of a specific reason,
en una estación,
in a season,
en una etapa de tu
in
vida.
a stage of your life.
Toda batalla espiritual,
Every spiritual battle,
dije espiritual,
I said
no
spiritual,
las que tú te buscas.
not the ones that you look for.
Porque a veces estás diciendo que el marido que me diste, la
Because
mujer que me
sometimes you're
diste,
saying the husband that you gave me, the wife that you gave me,
y Dios te hace,
and God does.
yo
Me?
no te lo di.
I didn't give him or her to you.
Yo
Me?
no te la di.
I didn't give her.
¿Sabe? Y queremos echarle a Dios
And we want to blame God
cargas que no son de Él.
and put loads on him that are not his.
Entonces, los propósitos de las batallas de Dios
So the purposes of the battles of God
en nuestras vidas son espirituales.
in our lives, it's spiritual.
Y hay tres áreas,
And there's three areas,
no que esas son las que son.
not that they are the
Yo
ones
quiero
that they are.
mencionarte tres
I
áreas
just want to mention three
de las que yo
areas
te puedo
of the
mencionar a
ones
ti.
that I can mention to you.
Primero,
First,
es aprender a estar firme.
you have to learn how to be firm.
Dice la palabra
The word says
que nos vistamos de toda armadura de Dios.
that we have to clothe ourselves
Pero
with all the armor
vistiéndote
of
de
God.
Netflix,
But getting dressed with Netflix,
vistiéndote de Facebook,
getting clothed with Facebook,
vistiéndote de Twitter.
getting clothed with Twitter.
Mira, por mi madre, que aquí hay líderes.
Look, on my mother, there's leaders here.
¿Y por qué usted dice aquí? Porque no
And
voy a
why
hablar
do
de
you
otra
say
iglesia,
here?
tengo que hablar de
Because
esta.
I'm not going to talk about another church. I have to talk about this
Usted no ha
one.
escuchado, padre.
Haven't you heard the
Critican
parents?
todos los hijos menos los de
They
ellos.
criticize everybody else's children, but they don't criticize their own children.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Tú has visto padres hablando, no que fulano, que
Have you
fulanita.
seen parents saying, "Oh, did you
Que
see
si
this one
hace,
or
que
that
si
one?
no hace,
She
que
does,
si
or
el
she
mío.
doesn't do, or
No, no, no.
mine."
Vamos a hablar de lo que hace el tuyo.
No, let's talk about what yours
Cuando te
does.
sientas a hablar con tu esposa,
When you sit down to talk with your wife,
habla de los hijos tuyos,
talk about your children,
no de los hijos de otros.
not somebody else's children.
Porque tu interés debe ser corregir los tuyos,
Because your interest should be to correct yours
no criticar los de los demás.
and not criticize anybody else's.
Mira, cuando tú no hablas mal de nadie,
Look, when you don't talk bad about anyone,
eso habla de ti mismo.
that talks about your own self.
¿Sabes? Cuando yo tengo que criticar el hijo, la hija, el marido,
You
la
know, when I have to
mujer
criticize the son, the daughter, the wife, the husband
de otra
of
persona,
another person,
es porque yo estoy justificando la condición de los míos.
it's because I'm justifying the condition of my own.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Por eso hay que resistir.
That's why you have to resist.
Entonces, es aprender
And it's learning
a resistir, a estar
to resist,
firme.
to be firm.
Sin la armadura de Dios,
Without the
será
armor of God,
imposible estar firme.
It will be impossible to be firm.
Dice que en Dubái,
It says that in Dubai.
déjame buscarlo aquí porque me gusta leerlo.
Let me look for it because I like to read it.
El gobernante de Dubái
The governor of Dubai,
dijo una vez,
he said once,
mire esto,
look at this.
mis amigos estaban construyendo castillos de arena en la playa.
My friends were building sand castles in the beach.
Estaban construyendo castillos,
They were building sand castles.
¿en dónde?
Where?
En la arena de la playa,
In
¿verdad?
the sand of the beach, right?
¿Y quiénes lo criticaron?
And who are the ones that were criticizing?
Mira, las críticas más dañinas
Look, the most damaging criticism
son los que están cerca de ti.
are the ones that are close to you.
Son la gente
It's the people
que justifica.
that
Por eso el
justify.
enemigo siempre va a buscar
That's why the enemy is always going to look
quién está cerca de ti.
to see who is close to you.
A él no le interesa el que está lejos de
He's
ti.
not interested on the one that's far from you.
Y dice,
And it
se
says-
rieron de mí cuando traté de construir un castillo
They were laughing of me when I tried to build a castle
de arena
of sand
en el agua.
in the water.
Ahora los llevo a ver mis islas.
Now I
Wow.
take them to see my islands.
Cuando tú tienes un sueño
When you have a dream
y tú sabes resistir,
and you know how to resist,
tal vez te cueste 20, 25.
it'll cost you
Porque
probably
cuando
20,
tú quieres
25
cumplir un
years.
sueño en
Because
días,
when you want to fulfill a dream in
no es un
days,
sueño,
it's not a
es un
dream.
capricho.
It's just a whim.
Por eso el que levanta un negocio
That's why that one that lives
y
from
no
the
le da
business,
todo lo que
it
tiene,
doesn't give everything that they have
es
to
un
it.
capricho.
It's just a whim that you have.
No es un sueño.
It's not
La
a dream.
pasión
The passion
te lleva a decirle al
will
diablo,
take you to say to the devil,
a la gente,
and to the people,
a lo que te rodea,
to what
no hay
surrounds you.
nada que
There's
me
nothing
pare
that is
y
gonna
lo voy.
stop me, and I will.
¿Sabes? Tú tienes que resistir.
You know you have to resist.
En una ocasión a Vicente Fernández le dijeron
In one occasion, they said to Vicente Fernandez,
para modelar y hacer, ¿verdad?, unas portadas de la carátula del disco.
you know, they told him that he needed to update himself so that he could do better faces for his
Sensual,
albums.
Que llamaran la
You know, something
atención.
that looks sensual.
Que muchos
something that
cristianos
would
tienen la
call
portada de
the
los discos así
attention.
bien sexy.
You know, many Christians have, you know, their albums like that, very sexy. Their covers of the albums very
Que
sexy.
son, que dicen son, pero yo
But
no sé
they
qué
say
pasa.
that they are, but I don't know what's going on there.
Sin embargo, él dijo, yo no nací para modelar.
However, he said, I wasn't born to be
Yo
a
nací
model.
para
I
cantar.
was born to sing.
Y yo canto con la boca,
And I sing with my
no
mouth,
con mi cuerpo.
not with my body.
Los que son de México o los que les gusta la
Those
música
that are from
ranchera
Mexico or those that like ranchera
saben que
music.
después de Pedro Infante,
You know that after Pedro
Jorge
Infantes,
Negrete
Jorge Negrete
y Arturo Espada,
and Arturo Espada,
él es el más grande.
he is the greatest one.
Vicente Fernández es lo
Vicente
que
Fernández.
¿sabe? El problema es lo que está sucediendo
You know, the problem is what's happening
dentro de la iglesia.
inside of the church.
La gente compite
The people compete
para verse mejor,
so that they could look better,
no ser el mejor.
not be the best.
Cuando tú quieres ser el mejor,
When you want to be the best,
tú le vas a darle el 100
you are going to give
a
100
lo que tú sabes que tú eres el
to
bueno.
what you know that you are good.
Cuando tú le das 40,
When you are
30,
given 40,
70,
30,
50,
70, 50,
20,
20,
divides tu por ciento
you are dividing your
en
percentage
diversas cosas,
in diverse things.
nunca llegarás al éxito.
You will never make it to the success.
Acuérdate que éxito no está en el dinero.
And remember, success is not having money.
Porque ahora mismo este futbolista con tantos millones, ¿de qué le vale tenerlo y perder toda su familia?
Because this football player with so many millions, what is it worth to have all that and lose his
¿Sabe? La
family?
gente no comprende
You know, people don't
que la
comprehend
iglesia
that the church
está tratando, el Señor
is trying, the
está
Lord
tratando de capacitar la gente,
is trying to make people
pero
rethink.
la gente
But the
no
people,
quiere
They
capacitarse
don't want to
porque
reconsider
necesitan motivación.
because they need motivation.
La motivación
The motivation
es para aquellos que no tienen pasión.
is for those that do not have passion.
Ya mismo te lo voy a
And
enseñar.
pretty soon I'm going to teach you.
Tienes que grabártelo. Segundo,
You have to record that for yourself.
aprender
Second,
a vencer y disfrutar la victoria.
you have to learn how to defeat and enjoy the victory.
Mira, la rotura de mi carro
You know, the breaking down of my
me
car
puso más dinero en el banco
put more money in my bank
de lo que yo esperaba sacar.
than what I was expecting to get out of it.
¿Cómo?
How?
Solo Dios sabe hacer las
Only
cosas.
God knows how to do things.
Solo Dios sabe.
Only God
Cuando
knows.
las cosas no te salen como tú
When
quieres
things don't come about the way that
y
you
tú
want
no te rindes
and you don't
y
surrender,
tú dices, ¿cómo lo voy a hacer?
and you say, how am I going to do
Voy a
it?
resistir.
I'm going to resist.
Porque no es el diablo.
Because it's not the
Ya yo
devil.
te dije, ni el mecánico,
I already told you, not the mechanic.
no guía el carro.
He doesn't drive the car.
Él no es el que chequea los aceites.
He's not the one that checks the
nada,
oils.
nada.
No, nothing.
¿Sabes? Cuando tú eres una persona
You know, when you are a person,
que quiere ser, es como los mecánicos.
it's like the mechanics.
Dañan una pieza
They damage a part,
y cuando el cliente viene,
and when the client comes,
le dicen que la pieza estaba dañada. No,
they
dile
say
que tú la montaste
that
mal.
that part was already broken. No, say that you installed that part wrong.
Te recortan,
They cut
te
your hair,
pintan.
or they color
Las
it.
mujeres que pintan cabello,
The women that color their hairs,
si algo no sale
if
bien,
something doesn't come out right,
le echan la culpa
they blame
al cabello, al
the hair,
tinte.
the color.
No. La
No,
que
no.
pintaste el pelo fuiste tú.
the one that colored the hair was you.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
¿Sabe? Cuando tú y yo siempre estamos justificando
When you and I are always
lo
justifying
que hacemos.
what we do.
Yo no voy a la iglesia porque allí hay gente.
I don't go to the church because
No,
there's
tú
people
no vas
there.
a la iglesia
No, you don't go to the church
porque tú no quieres venir a la iglesia.
because you don't want to come to
Ten
the
los
church.
pantalones, la
Have your pants
falda
on right and your
para
skirt
decir,
to be able to say,
no quiero ir.
I don't want to go.
¿Quién te va a obligar? Dime.
Who's going to obligate you? Tell me.
Es como ir a comer a un
It's
restaurante.
like going to a restaurant to eat.
Hay gente que se llena los ojos.
There's people that fill their eyes first.
Piden un montón de cosas.
And they ask for a lot
Y
of
no se la
things.
comen.
And they don't eat it.
Esa gente
Those people,
todavía no ha
they still
experimentado
have not experienced
la pobreza.
poverty.
¿Para qué tú vas a pedir algo que no te lo vas a comer?
What are you going to ask for something that you are not going to eat?
Oh, los chavos son míos.
Oh, no, the money is mine.
No hay problema.
Well, there's no
El
problem.
problema es que tú no estás enfocado.
The problem is that you're not focused.
A mí me gusta pedir y comerme lo que pedí.
I like to ask for food and eat what
Por
I
eso
ask
no pido
for.
de más.
That's why I don't ask more than what I should.
No, pastor, es que yo soy así.
Oh, no, pastor, this is how I am.
Sé como tú quieras.
Well, be however you want to be.
Hay que aprender a disfrutar la victoria.
But you have to learn how to enjoy the
¿Sabes cuál
victory.
es la real victoria que tú disfrutas?
Do you know what is the real victory
La
that
que
you
tú
enjoy?
sabes que obtuviste legalmente.
The one that you know that you obtained legally.
Cuando tú obtienes ganancias que tú sabes que
When you
hubo
obtain
una
profits
pequeña
that you know that there was a little
curva,
curve,
tú no debes de celebrar esa
you
victoria.
should not celebrate that victory
Porque eso no es
because
victoria.
that's not a victory.
Eso fue un tomaventaja.
That was something that you took advantage in.
Todo el que tome ventaja de ti,
And everybody that takes advantage of
al
you,
final va a perder.
at the end they will lose.
Al final va a
At
perder.
the end they will lose
Porque Dios está a tu favor.
because God is in your favor.
Tienes que aprender a vencer
That
y a
you have to
disfrutar
learn
tu victoria.
how to defeat and enjoy your
Esos son
victory.
los propósitos de
Those are the purposes.
darle toda la gloria al Señor.
And give all the glory to the Lord.
Muchos de nosotros hemos abrazado el cristianismo bíblico,
Many of us have embraced the biblical Christianism.
escuche bien,
Listen well.
perdiendo de vista
Losing from our sight
que bajo la óptica de Dios
that under the optical of God,
no existe vida cristiana sin batalla.
no Christian life exists without battles.
Entre más batallas,
The more
y yo no
battles,
estoy hablando de las que tú te buscas,
and I'm not speaking about the ones
porque
that
si
you
Dios
seek
te
for.
advierte y tú no
Because
haces,
if
te la
God
buscaste
warns
tú.
you and you don't do
Eso
it,
no
you
es
were the
una
one that got
batalla
into it.
espiritual.
That's not a spiritual
La
battle.
batalla espiritual
The spiritual
es
battle
aquella
is that
que
one
tú enfrentas
that you face
sin haberlo buscado.
without having looked for it.
Yo no vine al evangelio
I didn't come to the
a
gospel
buscar escasez.
looking for famine.
Cuando yo pasé mi escasez,
When I went through my
yo
famine,
entendí que
I
era
understood
espiritual.
that it was spiritual.
Porque estaba en escasez sin que me faltara nada.
Because I was in a famine, but without being in need of anything.
No tenía el extra,
I didn't have the extra,
pero no me faltaba nada.
but I wasn't in need
Entonces
of
yo
anything.
tenía que dejar de pelear con lo que quería y aprovechar lo que tenía.
So I had to stop fighting with what I wanted, and I had to take advantage of what I
Hay
had.
veces
There's times
que tenemos que aprender a enfrentar
that we need to learn how to face
todo este tipo de cosas.
all of these type of things.
Porque tus batallas, tus luchas,
Because your battles, your
las que
struggles,
tú tienes que enfrentar,
the ones that you have to
y
face.
sumando a eso
And adding to that,
los años que el enemigo se encarga
the years that the enemy takes care
o se ha encargado de enseñar
or has taken care of showing
desde los púlpitos
that from the
Escuche bien.
pulpits, listen well,
a una generación que se le enseña la limitación,
teaching a generation that they're being taught the limitations,
que se le enseña a suprimirlos bajo la enfermedad.
they are taught to be suppressed under
Algo
the
Dios
sicknesses.
quiere que te quiere enfermo.
Oh, something God wants that He wants you to be sick.
¿De dónde sale esa enseñanza?
Where does that teaching come from?
Algo Dios quiere que te quiera así en
Something God wants
pobreza.
that He wants you like that in poverty.
Mira, la gente es tan ignorante
Look, the people are so ignorant
que hablan de que Jesús nació en pobreza.
that they speak that Jesus was born in poverty
Porque es que se ponen a escuchar canciones.
because they start hearing those songs.
El hombre andaba pelú, descalzo.
You know, he was walking around with his hair all long. He was barefoot.
¿Dónde Jesús andó pelú y descalzo?
Where did Jesus walk around barefoot and with his
En su
hair all
muerte se
long?
pelearon la ropa que llevaba.
In his death, they were fighting for the garments that he had on.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
En su
In
muerte
his death,
todavía hablaban de lo que él tenía.
they were still talking about what he had.
Cuando nace,
When he was born,
le llevaron oro, le llevaron
they took to him
perfume,
gold,
le llevaron de todo.
perfume. They took everything to him.
Y no era como antes.
And it wasn't like before,
Ahora,
like now.
antes llevaban de verdad.
Before they would truly take some to
Lee.
read.
Y él se hizo,
And he
o
became
sea, si yo me hago
poor.
pobre,
So
es
if
que
I
yo
make
soy
myself
qué.
poor, it's that I'm what?
Y él se hizo pobre
He
por
became
causa.
poor because of
Mira el que está a tu lado
your
es por
cause.
ti.
Look at the one that's next to you and say your cause.
Porque es que tú no puedes tener algo
Because you cannot have something
si no mueres primero.
if you don't die first.
Hasta que tú no mueras
Until you
y
die
resistas
and you resist,
y aprendas
you learn
Tú vas a estar padeciendo de muchas
You are
cosas.
going to be suffering of many things.
Mantente peleando.
Remain fighting.
¿Sabe? Cuando se enseñaba tanto antes,
They would teach so much before.
mire hermano,
Look, brothers,
usted tiene que saber
you have to know
que el crecimiento
that the growth,
es poco a poco
it's little by
y
little,
tienes que pasar,
and you have to
tienes
go
que estar
through.
en
You
problemas.
gotta be in
¿Sabe?
problems.
Confundían tus
they
problemas
would
con los problemas de
confuse
Dios.
your problems with the problems of God.
Yo no voy a la iglesia porque el pastor.
I don't go to the church because
Mire,
the
hermano,
pastor.
usted no
Look,
viene a la
brothers,
iglesia porque
you
usted es un
don't come to the church
picapiedra.
because you're one that likes to sin.
¿Tú le sirves a los hombres
Do you serve the man
o le sirves a Dios?
or do you serve God?
Porque si le sirves a los hombres,
Because if you're
tú eres
serving
un
the man,
idólatra.
you're an
Eres una
idolatress.
idólatra.
You're an idolatress.
Tú le sirves a Dios,
You serve God,
pero eres guiado
but you're guided
por los hombres.
by men.
La gente es tan
The
idólatra
people are so much of
que le
idolaters
sirven a Dios,
that they serve God,
pero no permiten que un hombre lo guíe.
but they don't allow a man to guide them.
Eso también es idolatría.
That's also idolatry.
Porque estás adorando a alguien que
Because
no
you are
obedece sus
worshiping
mandamientos.
somebody that is not obeying his commandments.
Entonces se ha convertido
So it has
en
converted
este tiempo,
in this time,
para estos predicadores
for
de este
these preachers
tiempo,
of this time,
la batalla
the battle,
no de sacar demonios,
Not of casting out
sino de
demons,
educar la iglesia.
if not of educating the
Que
church,
por tanto tiempo
that for so long
ha vivido encerrada
has lived enclosed
en pensamientos
in thoughts
de enseñanzas incorrectas.
of the incorrect teachings.
La ignorancia espiritual,
The spiritual ignorance,
la escritural,
the scriptural one,
siempre
always
va a conducir al pueblo.
is going to conduce the people.
Mira el que está a tu lado y dile a la derrota.
Look at the one that's next to you and say, to defeat.
Oseas 4:6.
Hosea 4:6.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Cuando tú sabes quiénes realmente son seguidores,
Do you know who are the ones that are truly followers?
que siguen instrucciones sin preguntar.
Those that follow instructions without asking.
Hay gente que quiere seguirte,
There's people that want to follow you,
pero no someterse.
but they don't want to be submitted.
Ese es el peligro.
That's the
Porque
danger.
si yo te digo a ti,
Because if I say to
en
you,
lo espiritual,
in the spiritual,
no te pintes más el pelo de ese color.
don't color your hair that color no more.
Ni te va a salvar ni te va a perder.
It's not going to make you be saved or lose your
Pero a lo mejor
salvation.
Dios quiere romper algo en ti.
But probably God wants to
esto
break something
es
in
un
you.
decir.
And no, this is just an
Depíceselo como el hombre allá
example.
quiere.
You know, you do your hair over there like that man wants.
Pero si Dios te dijese,
But if God were to say,
Dios lo que está buscando
what God is looking for
es que tú rompas con algo.
is for you to break with something.
A Dios no le interesa de qué color tú tienes el pelo,
God is not
de qué
interested in
cómo
what
te
color your
vistes.
hair is or how
No,
you dress. No.
Dios a veces
Sometimes
nos
God
lleva
takes us
a una esquina
to a corner
para rompernos.
so that he could break us.
Entonces, la palabra lo dice.
And the word says it.
Mi pueblo fue destruido porque le faltó conocimiento.
My people were destroyed because of lack of knowledge.
Por cuanto desechaste el conocimiento,
And because you have rejected the knowledge,
estás en ese problema.
you're in that problem.
Por eso ya yo sé quién me sigue y quién no me sigue.
That's why I already
Quién
know
es
who follows
discípulo,
me
quién
and
no
who
es
doesn't follow
discípulo.
me, who is
No es
a
lo que digas, no es lo que
disciple,
hablen,
and
no es
who's
como
not a disciple,
actúes,
what's
sino
not
lo
how
que
you talk
haces
or
que yo
what you
digo
say or
que
how you
hagas.
act. It's what you do of what I'm telling you to do.
Si no haces lo que yo digo que
If
hagas,
you're not doing what I'm telling you to do,
mira esto,
look at this.
tiempito aquí.
Time out here.
Esto que estoy diciendo
This that I'm saying
como pastor
as a pastor
es difícil.
is difficult.
Porque entonces vienen los que no conocen
Because then comes those that
o
don't
los
know.
que todavía tienen ese machismo por dentro,
Or
porque
those
mayormente
that
son
still
los
have that
hombres.
masochism inside. The majority of them, it's the men.
Hay una mujer que otra.
There's probably a woman
Pero
or
mayormente
two,
son los
but the
hombres.
majority of them is the men.
¿Qué se cree este hombre?
Oh, what does this man think?
¿Me va a mandar a mí?
He thinks that he's going to rule
Nadie
over me?
está hablando de mandar.
Well, nobody's talking about ruling.
Estamos hablando de seguir,
We're talking about following,
de ser instruido.
of being instructed.
Entonces, lo que dicen,
So what they say,
a mí, no, yo no.
no, not me, not me.
No le gusta esto,
They don't like this,
pero son esclavos de una enseñanza de un pasado.
but they're slaves of a teaching of the past.
Enseña la vida espiritual
Show your spiritual life
por lo que hablas,
by what you speak,
no por lo que vives.
not by what you
Son
do.
esclavos de eso.
They're slaves of
Como me
that.
visto, como camino.
How I dress, how I walk.
No puedo entender a aquel líder,
I can't understand that leader,
pero no puedes sacerdotear tu casa.
but you cannot be a priest of your house
Porque te gusta enseñar público,
because you like to show in the public,
pero cuando se cierran las
but when
puertas,
the doors are closed,
te admira tu familia.
does your family admire you?
Porque afuera nos admiran todos.
Because on the outside everybody
Cuando
admires
cerramos
us.
las puertas
But when we close the doors,
y digan,
And they
el
say,
campeón de
the
campeones
champion of
está
all
aquí.
champions is here.
A mí me interesa la opinión de tu hijo,
I'm interested in the opinion of your son.
pero me preocupa la de los míos.
But the opinion of mine is what
¿Entendiste
worries
lo que te
me.
dije?
Did you understand
Me
what I said?
interesa la opinión de
I'm
tus hijos,
interested in the opinion of your
pero me
children.
preocupa la que dicen los
But
míos.
I worry about what
Esa me
mine say.
preocupa,
That one
porque
worries
ese me conoce,
Because that
ese
one knows
sabe
me.
quién
That
soy,
one knows who
ese
I am.
sabe lo que
That
doy,
one knows what
ese
I can
sabe
give. That one knows
a qué resisto y a qué no resisto.
what I resist and what I don't.
Si usted cree que el enemigo
If you think that the enemy
va a perdonarle a usted
is going to forgive you
que haya renunciado
for you to have renounced
a su propio reino
to your own kingdom,
para vivir en el reino de Cristo,
to live in the kingdom of Christ,
usted está equivocado.
you are wrong.
Por eso están los que hablan de reino
That's why you have those that speak about the kingdom
y los que viven en el
and
reino.
those that live in the kingdom.
Aquí tú tienes que resistir.
You have to resist.
Hay veces que el enemigo te lleva a tentaciones sin nadie hablar.
There's times that the enemy will take you to temptations without anybody
Hay
speaking
veces
to
que
you.
cuando más cerca está tu bendición, tú la
There's
pierdes
times that when the closest is your blessing to you, you lose it
porque no resistes.
because you don't resist.
Es por eso que las batallas espirituales
That's why the spiritual battles
son enfrentadas.
are faced.
Me voy a dar un buche de agua porque cuando lo aprendí primero
I'm going to drink a little bit because when I learned this for the first time,
son enfrentadas por aquellos que son parte
they are faced by those that are
del
part
reino de Dios.
of the kingdom of God.
Los que están sin Cristo,
Those that are without Christ,
o hablando bíblicamente,
or speaking it biblically,
que no conocen
those that do not know
lo que la palabra dice,
what the word says,
viven
they live
bajo el dominio del diablo.
under the dominion of the devil,
Endeudados,
in debt,
problemas,
in problems, in
estrésicos,
stress,
desánimos
discouragement,
abajo, autoestimas bajas.
low self-esteem.
Esos no son
Those are not
puntos
points
para un hombre o una mujer de Dios.
for a man or a woman of God.
Yo lo sigo diciendo.
I continue to say it.
Mira, hay jóvenes
Look, there's young
que lo
ones
tienen todo.
that they have it all,
Todo. Están en estrés.
but they're in a stress
Se levantan por las mañanas que
They
tú
wake up in
dices,
the morning
no hay mucha diferencia entre Satanás y
that
él.
you say there's not too much difference between Satan and him.
Hay jóvenes que tienen una polémica dentro de ellos, que tienen una autoestima tan baja que
There's
todo lo que
youth
se hace es por culpa de ellos.
That have such a polemic inside of them that they have such a low self-esteem that everything that is done is because of their fault.
Yo no quiero esto porque no quiero que nadie vaya a pensar, que vayan a pensar que si te lo están ofreciendo.
I don't want this because I don't want anybody to think, well, think what? They're offering it to you.
Ayer me compré unos tenis,
Yesterday, I bought some sneakers for myself.
me costaron 30 pesos.
They cost me $30.
Pero uno de los muchachos me trajo uno que valían 150.
But one of the guys brought me one that cost $150.
Y yo los miré
And I looked at
y
them
tiene mucho embeleco,
and I said, it has too many things on it.
mucho diseño,
Too many designs,
mucha cosa.
a lot of things.
Le dije, y yo no necesito un tenis para lucírselo a la
And
gente.
I said, I don't need a pair of sneakers to
Yo
show off
necesito
to
un
the
tenis que
people.
yo camine y me sienta que
I
estoy
need
descalzo.
a sneaker that when I put them on, I'm going to walk and I'm going to feel like I'm barefoot.
¿Sí me sigue?
Are you following me?
Ok, a otro le va a gustar.
Somebody else,
A
okay,
mí
may
no.
like them, but
No
not
es
me.
cuestión de precio.
It's not a matter of price.
Es cuestión de gusto.
It's a matter of what you like.
Porque yo no dije que no es mi estilo.
Because I didn't say anything. It's just that they're not
Y
my
yo no
style.
tengo 20 años
And I'm
para
not
andar
20
con unos
years
tenis
old
así.
for me to be walking around with some sneakers like them.
Y una de las muchachas me dijo, "Y estos verdes." Yo dije,
And one of
a
the ladies
usted,
said, how about these green ones?
a ustedes se le ven bien porque
And
ustedes
I
son
said,
mujeres.
well, they look good for you because
Pero yo
you're
me
a
pongo
woman.
unos tenis verdes
But if I
ahora.
put some green shoes now,
¿A qué diablo me voy a parecer? Dime.
what the devil am I going to look like? Tell me.
Yo no tengo 30 años.
I'm not 30
Yo
years
tengo
old.
54
I am
años
54
de edad.
years old.
Si yo me quiero ver de clase,
If I
si
wanna
yo me
look
quiero ver
like a man of
deporte,
class,
si
of
yo me quiero
elegance,
ver lo que
If I
soy,
want to look like what I am,
yo tengo que caminar con lo que
I
soy.
have to walk with what I am.
Yo le decía, mamá, eso no es ningún problema.
You know, I don't have no problem with that.
No es cuestión. Mira, a alguien y dile, tengo que conocer bíblicamente.
Look at somebody and say, I have to know biblically.
Hay temporadas y etapas
There are seasons, stages
que el enemigo te va a
that
molestar.
the enemy is going to bother you.
Tú quieres ver los hombres y mujeres frustrados.
Do you want to see the men and women frustrated?
No aceptan la edad.
They don't accept their age.
Tú los ves que cuando pasan de los
You
50
see
de los
them when they
40
pass 50 or 40,
quieren competir con los nenes de
they
20.
want to compete with the 20-year-old ones.
Ubícate.
Just position yourself.
Mujeres que a veces tú las ves vestidas y tú dices, ¿cuántos años tú tienes,
Women
señora?
that sometimes you see them dressed and you say, how old are you, ma'am?
¿Qué estás compitiendo con la hija tuya?
Why are you competing against your daughter?
Ya tu temporada pasó.
Your season has
Vístete
already
como la edad que
changed.
tienes.
Dress like the age that you have.
Mira, si yo me dejara llevar por los muchachos,
Look, if I would allow myself
por
to
los
be
tres
taken
varones,
by the three men, by the guys,
no, ellos me tuvieran a mí como si yo tuviera
they would
15
have me
años.
like
Y
if
no,
I were
papi,
15
yo no.
years old, and I said,
No,
no,
sí,
man,
yo no doy para eso.
I don't give enough for that.
Jugamos un 2-2 en baloncesto.
We played basketball, a 2-on-2,
Que por cierto,
2-to-2, and in
se acabó
fact,
12-4.
it ended 12-4.
Y el primer canasto lo eché de 3.
And the first basket, it was a three-pointer basket.
Pero después
But
terminé
after I finished,
que las piernas no me
that my legs, I said,
qué
oh,
error
what
cometí.
a mistake I have committed.
No puedo ya jugar baloncesto,
I
se
can't
acabó.
play basketball no more. That's it.
Por entonces estoy jugando con 3 nenes.
But I'm playing against 3 young ones.
Mi pareja era César.
And my partner was Cesar.
Contra Luis y Ulises.
Against Luis and Ulisse.
Dos nenes.
They're 2 young ones.
12-4 se acabó.
12-4.
Si no fallaba.
That was the score. I won't
No
fail
tengo
my
juego de
baskets.
pierna, pero tengo un tiro.
I don't have a good game in my legs, but I have a shot.
Iglesia.
Church.
Me galdió Ulises.
Ulisse was the
No,
one
y
that was
Luis,
guarding me.
los dos.
Luis and Luis too. Both
Pues
of
le
them at
metí
the
uno
same
de 3 a
time.
Luis.
Because I put a three-pointer in a basket with Lewis too.
Tú y yo tenemos que estar claros
You and I have to be clear
bajo lo que es bíblico, bajo el punto bíblico.
under what is biblical, the biblical point.
Escúchame bien.
Listen well.
Todo creyente, todo
Every
discípulo
believer, every disciple
tiene que atravesar batallas.
has to go through battles.
Los matrimonios
The matrimonies,
tienen que atravesar
You
batallas.
have to go through battles.
Oh my God.
Mi Dios.
Mira, hay pecados
Look, there's
en el
sins
matrimonio
in the matrimony
que son el resultado de una felicidad.
that they're the result of a happiness.
Déjame explicarte.
Let me explain it to you.
Hay desilusiones,
There's
faltas,
disillusions,
tal
and
vez
there's
infidelidad,
faults,
tal
probably
vez traición, tal vez.
unfaithfulness, probably
Pastor, pero que tú
betrayal.
estás diciendo que se peque.
But pastor, you're saying that we should sin?
No,
Nope.
pero si pasase,
But if it were to happen,
algo Dios va a romper
something God is going to break
para tener éxito.
to have success.
Pero tú sabes cuál es el problema.
But do you know what the
Que cuando
problem
tú
is?
sales corriendo de tu tentación,
That when you leave your temptation running
de tu prueba,
out
perdón,
of your trial, excuse me,
y no la enfrentas,
and you don't face it,
tú serás esclavo de tu propio pecado toda la vida.
you will be a slave of your own sin your whole life.
Toda la vida.
Your whole life.
Mira, hay hombres
Look, there's men
que su mujer,
that their wife,
uy, esto es fuerte, lo que
and
voy a
this
decir,
is hard what I'm going to say,
no le puede decir,
they cannot say,
no le puede
they
decir.
cannot say,
Voy a usar esta palabra que es incorrecta, pero usted me va a entender porque así es la jerga de muchos de nosotros.
I'm going to say this word, it's incorrect, but you're going to understand it because that's how the jargon of many of us is.
En la intimidad,
In the intimacy,
la mujer no le puede decir,
the women cannot say,
nene,
man,
como que no estás
like you're not,
tirando lo mejor.
giving your best.
Ese hombre
That man
está tan enfermo acá arriba,
is so sick up here,
tan débil,
so weak,
que se frustra.
that he will get
¿Sabe cuál es el
frustrated.
primer pensamiento que le
And
viene?
you know what's the first thought that comes up to their mind?
Hay otro hombre.
There's another man.
No, es que hay otro hombre
No,
que
it's
tú no
not that
estás
there's another
haciéndolo
man.
bien.
It's that you're not doing it well.
Ese es el problema.
That's the problem.
Si tú entendieras que si tú le haces caso a ella,
If you would only understand that if you pay attention
tú
to
te
her,
conviertes en el búfalo
you would convert
de
into
toda
the
una
buffalo
región.
of the whole region.
Sigue siendo ese gorila de embuste.
Continue to be that fake gorilla.
Porque el enemigo sabe
Because the enemy knows
que cuando se corrigen las cosas hay victoria.
that when you correct things, there's a
El
victory.
enemigo sabe
The enemy knows
que los hombres no les gustan ser corregidos,
that the men don't
que
like
son
to be
tan
corrected.
machos.
They are so macho.
Escucha bien, que son tan machos
Listen, they're so much of a
que
macho
prefieren ser una porquería
that they prefer to be bad
que buscar ayuda.
than for them to seek help.
Esto yo no lo he dicho por nadie.
And I have not said this because of anybody.
Si tú te estás picando es que a ti te llamaron la atención.
If you are getting upset because of this, it's because your attention was
Sí, porque
called.
aquí no pueden venir.
Because here
Lo
you
dijo
cannot
por
say,
mí.
oh, he said it because
No.
of me. Nah,
No lo dije por ti.
I didn't say it because of you.
Si te está picando,
But if this is
Dios te lo
bothering
está
you,
diciendo
God
a
is
ti.
saying it to you.
Así que hacer ejercicio, puchó y ciró y
So,
para adelante.
you know, you got to do exercise, push-ups, and go forward.
Hay pruebas. Resiste.
There's trials you have to resist.
La Biblia lo llama padecimiento.
The Bible causes sufferings.
Nene, ponte este pantaloncito así, ponte este
Man,
así.
can you put these pants on like this or like that?
A lo mejor te compraron
They
uno.
probably bought you some pants.
¿Ah?
Huh?
De esos que incomodan, de
One
los
of
que
those that
incomodan.
make you feel uncomfortable
Con la bandera de los Estados Unidos.
with the flag of the United States.
No, yo no me pongo eso.
Oh no, I don't put that on.
Ella no te está pidiendo que te vayas a exhibir.
She's not asking you to go and show yourself
Ella te está
somewhere.
diciendo es
She
que la
is saying to
bandera
you,
me turba.
It's that flag disturbs me.
A mí no.
Not me.
A mí me la pueden traer con la bandera de Estados Unidos,
You can bring
con
it
la
with the
bandera de
flag of the
México,
United States,
con la bandera de
from
Puerto
Mexico,
Rico.
from Puerto Rico.
Es más,
Even more.
con la carátula de Carlitos Colón.
It could have Carlitos Colon mask on it.
Primera de Pedro 5:9 dice.
1 Peter 5:9 says,
Uy, me parece que yo voy a tener que hacer una escuela para los hombres.
it seems like I'm going to have to do a school for the men.
Aquí hay muchos hombres que van a tener que romper con esas boberas.
There's many men here that are going to have to break with those foolishness.
Ay, 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 ay. Yo no puedo dormir si no es con camisa.
I can't sleep if it's not with a shirt on.
Pero si ella te pide que te la quite,
But if she is asking you to take it off,
date guille de Hulk Hogan. ¡Ah!
just start
¿Qué es
showing
lo que
up
tú
like
quieres,
you're
nena?
Hulk Hogan and just be like, what is it that you want?
Porquería de camisa esta.
Oh, this
¡Ah! Rompe la camisa
Break the shirt off
y atácala con la suplidora.
and attack her.
Rágata, vámonos, que nos vamos a estar, león. Se mueren los matrimonios
The matrimonies are dying
por falta de...
because of lack.
Toca a alguien y dile,
Touch somebody and say,
hay batallas que las tengo que enfrentar.
there's battles that I have to face.
Resistirlo firme en la fe,
Resist him firm in the face,
sabiendo que los mismos padecimientos se van cumpliendo en vuestros hermanos en todo el mundo.
knowing that the same family of believers throughout the world is undergoing the same kind of sufferings.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Es que estoy muy cansado del trabajo.
You know, I'm too tired from work.
Nene,
Man,
me trabaja menos.
work less.
Vamos a ser sinceros unos con otros.
Let's be sincere with one another.
Existe una gran diferencia.
A great difference exists.
Escúcheme bien.
Listen
En
well.
ese cristianismo que se ha hablado de afuera,
From that Christianism that has been spoken on the outside,
que es que es hoy.
than the one that it is today.
Oh my God. ¿Sabe? Los creyentes son atacados
You know, the believers are attacked
más por el enemigo, escuche bien,
more by the enemy, and I want you to listen well,
que los que se comprometen con Dios
than those that
por la
compromise
causa
themselves
de
with God
Cristo,
because of
que
Christ's
anhelan hacer
cause,
algo para Cristo,
that desire to do something for
a
Christ,
toda la voluntad de Dios,
the whole will of
que
God,
caminan en santidad, que caminan en
that they
integridad,
walk in
que
holiness and
sirven de
integrity,
corazón a
and they
Dios,
serve wholeheartedly to God,
que el que no hace nada.
than that one that does nothing.
A muchos se les enseñó.
Many were taught,
No, hermano, si llegue, después que adore ahí.
I know, brother, if you come, you could come as long as you
¿No has
worship
leído
there.
que la mies es mucha y poco los obreros?
Haven't you read that the work is many and
¿Sabe?
very
Dios
few the
necesita que
workers?
tú hagas algo.
God needs you to do something.
No, Dios no me llamó a
Oh,
predicar.
no, God
Está
didn't call you to
bien, a
preach. Well,
predicar
that's fine,
no.
not preaching,
Pero te llamó a hacer muchas
but
cosas.
He called you to do many other things.
¿Sabes los voluntarios que se necesitan?
You know the volunteers that we need
Ahora mismo.
right now.
Estamos escasos en lo de media.
We are in need of media workers.
¿Sabe por qué?
Do you know why?
Porque estos jóvenes lo que quieren es pecar.
Because these young ones, all they want to do is sin.
No quieren comprometerse.
They don't want to compromise or commit themselves.
Y los jóvenes, viva Jehová y viva mi alma.
And
Escúchame,
the youth,
todos los que
the
trabajan
Lord
en
live
media.
and my soul live. Listen, everybody that works in the media,
Le voy a orar a Dios.
I'm going to pray to
Y si hay
God.
alguno que está trabajando dando quejas,
And if there's anybody that is working and is
lo voy a
complaining,
sacar también.
I'm going to remove them out of the team as well.
Si no quieres estar ahí metido,
If
salte.
you don't want to be in there, just get out.
¿Sabe? El enemigo no se molesta
You know, the enemy doesn't get upset
con aquellos que no están conquistando.
with those that are not conquering.
¿Por qué tú crees que el enemigo se molesta con esos padres
Why do you think that the enemy gets upset with those parents?
que los hijos son locos de estar con ellos?
That their children are always going crazy because they want to be
Porque
with
el
their
enemigo
parents.
sabe que
Because
para
the enemy knows
lastimarlo
that to hurt them,
tiene que romper la relación de su padre.
he has to break the
hablando de los que
relationship
son
with the
varones.
parents. I'm talking about the males,
Igual de las
the boys.
hembras.
And the same thing with the females.
Sí, ¿por qué el enemigo se molesta?
Why does the enemy get upset?
Porque él sabe que tú tienes las herramientas.
Because he knows that you have the tools.
Si un padre tiene las herramientas,
If a parent has
es
the
porque lo que
tools,
tú quieres hacer ya él lo hizo.
it's because what you want to do, he already did.
Entonces él te va a velar, no haga eso,
So he's gonna watch you
muchacho.
and say, "Don't do
Te va a
that.
llevar a esto,
This,
te va a
that's going to
destruir
take
en
you to this,
esto,
to
te va.
this, it's going to destroy you in this.
El enemigo no se va a
The
molestar
enemy's not going to get upset
con los que no están conquistando.
with those that are not conquering.
Él se va a molestar con los que están
He will
conquistando.
get upset with those that are
Porque el que
conquering.
camina en sus propias
Because
debilidades,
those that are walking in their own
en
weaknesses,
un carácter débil,
in a weak character,
no influencia,
they don't influence.
el enemigo no lo va a molestar.
The enemy will not bother them.
Mira, estos hombres y mujeres.
Look, these men and women,
No, yo no voy a coger un tiempo.
oh no, I'm
yo
going
voy
to
a
take
dejar
myself
esto,
some time, I'm
yo
going
voy
to
a
stop
hacer-
doing
El
this.
enemigo no te va
The
a
enemy
molestar.
is not going to bother you.
No te va a molestar.
He will not bother you
Porque él sabe que ya tú no eres amenaza.
because he already knows that you're not a threat.
Y hay veces
And there's times
que la puerta está
that the door
cerca,
is close,
pero tú te rindes.
but you surrender.
¿Sabe? Nosotros tenemos que glorificar a Dios con nuestra vida,
You know, we have to glorify God with our life,
no el problema.
not the problem.
Todos vamos a pasar por problemas.
We're all going to go through problems.
Todos.
All of us.
Hay etapas de nuestra vida.
There are stages of our life.
Mire, nunca te vas a encontrar un matrimonio de 40 años
Look, you're never going to find a matrimony of 40 years
que no te mencione.
that does not mention
Estuvimos a punto de divorciar.
we were about to get divorced.
Encuentras esos matrimonios embusteros.
You find a matrimony, they're
No,
liars.
nunca hemos
Oh
peleado.
no, we've never fought.
No hemos tenido indiferencia.
We've never had indifferences.
Nunca he querido ahorcarlo.
I've never wanted to choke him or her.
No tiene que haber infidelidad.
There doesn't have to be
No tiene que haber
unfaithfulness.
robo.
There doesn't have to be.
Hay muchas cosas que cansan.
There's a lot of things that will make you tired.
Mire, la gente no ha podido resistirse al celular.
Look, people have not been able to resist the cell phones.
Está ocupando la cuarta posición.
It's occupying the fourth position.
La cuarta.
The fourth
En destrucción familiar.
in the family destructions.
Todo es el celular.
Everything is the cell phone.
Y los esclavos que tienen que trabajar todo el día en
And the
vacaciones,
slaves
en
that
días
have to work
libres,
on
en todo con el
vacations,
celular,
on
son
their
esclavos
days
del
off
trabajo.
with their cell
Son
phone. They're
esclavos
slaves
del
of their
trabajo.
job. They're slaves of their job.
Día libre, ¿día qué?
A day off is what?
Vacaciones son qué?
A vacation is what?
Eres esclavo del trabajo.
You are a slave of your
No lo
job.
vas a aceptar
You're not going to accept
porque
it
estás ciego.
because you are blind.
Cuando yo me voy de vacaciones,
When I go on vacation,
si uno de usted
if any of you
le falla a Dios y se cogota,
fails God and you backslide,
ni voy a orar por usted
I'm not even going to pray for you
en mis vacaciones.
on my vacation.
Cuando yo regrese,
When I return,
hablamos.
then we'll talk.
Porque cuando te cogotaste,
Because when you backslid,
no me llamaste para decir, ¿puedo ir a pecar?
you didn't call me to say, can I go and sin?
Entonces, no interrumpiste tu felicidad
You did not interrupt your happiness
para irte a pecar,
so that you could go and sin.
pero quieres interrumpir mi paz
But you want to come and interrupt my peace
en mis vacaciones.
on my vacation.
Así que, como decía Evelio,
So like Ebelio would say,
llegaste tarde.
you arrived too late.
Pastor, ¿dónde está tu amor?
And Pastor, where is your love?
Te garantizo que tengo más que tú.
I guarantee that I have more than you.
Te lo digo por
Do you want me
qué.
to tell you why?
Porque yo no he parado de trabajar para Dios.
Because I have not stopped working for
¿Y tú?
God. How about you?
No podemos
We cannot
permitir que el enemigo.
allow the enemy.
Te voy a dar una nada más, una,
I'm going to give you
porque
just
ya
one
vamos a terminar.
because we're about to finish.
Hay cosas
There's things
que el enemigo
that the enemy
va a repetir
is going to repeat
porque tú
because you
no lo has vencido.
have not defeated them.
Todo lo que el enemigo repite
Everything that the enemy repeats
es porque tú no venciste.
is because you did not defeat it.
Tienes que pasar el examen.
You have to pass that test.
Hay gente que está perdiendo su destino por culpa y que de la gente.
There's people that are losing their destiny. They're saying that it's the people's fault.
Mira,
Look,
una vez nosotros estamos en un servicio
one day we were in a service,
con poder.
a powerful service.
Y van a ministrar. Estamos mi
And
esposa y yo.
they're going to minister. My wife and I were there.
Estamos mi esposa y yo así.
My wife and I were there. We were like this.
Y yo, loco que oraran.
And I was going crazy for them to hurry up and pray.
Empezamos a adorar, a alabar, me solté de la mano.
We started worshiping and praising.
Ella llorando ahí.
I let go of her hand. She was crying.
Parece que cuando venía el predicador,
It seems like when the preacher was coming,
la atmósfera se le cruzó.
the atmospheres crossed for him.
Tu niñez abusada.
Your childhood where you were abused.
Has pasado un sufrimiento en un hogar.
You
Y
have
pegó, y
been
pegó.
through a
Y yo
suffering
tratando de
in
hacer
a
el predicador.
home. And I was trying to say to the preacher, it's me. It's me.
Era yo el del problema.
I
No era
wasn't one
ella.
of the problem, not her.
Eso fue hace como 20 años atrás.
That was like 20 years ago.
Ella no dejó de servirle a Dios.
But she didn't stop serving God
Porque ella tiene Biblia.
because she has the
Porque su
Bible.
esposo le enseña.
Because her husband teaches her.
Escucha todo lo que dicen.
Listen everything that they say
Retén lo bueno
and retain what is good
y desecha.
and just reject
lo malo.
what is bad.
Eso fue todo.
That was it.
Salimos de allí.
We left there.
Y tampoco di eso no es un hombre de Dios.
But I didn't say that's not a man of God.
No,
neither. No.
porque tengo Biblia.
Because I have the Bible.
Lo que le dije fue, se equivocó.
What I said to her was he got it wrong.
Bueno, iba hacia la
He
dirección
was
de
probably
nosotros.
going to the direction where we were at.
A lo mejor me vio a mí serio y
He
dijo,
probably saw me all
a ver si
serious.
se lo a esta.
And he said, oh, let me say it to her.
Pero no,
But no.
porque el problema es que hay que saber resistir.
Because the problem is that you have to know how to resist.
Y eso lo vamos a hablar tal vez en la tercera parte.
And we're probably going to speak about that in the
Estábamos
third part.
cerca de una promoción.
We were close
Él
to a
tenía que
promotion.
confundirnos.
He had to confuse us.
Tranquila,
I said, be calm.
que Samuel
Samuel
no pudo ver la palabra después de 7 expresiones.
couldn't see the word after 7 expressions.
Se dirigió a 7
He directed
que no
himself to
eran.
7 that were not the one.
Dios lo desechó.
Did God reject
No,
him? No.
seguía siendo el hombre de Dios.
continued to be the man
Él
of
le
God.
dijo,
He
Samuel, Samuelito,
Samuel,
va para un sitio.
You're going to a place.
No te dejes llevar
Don't let yourself be taken
Cosas pasan.
Because things do happen.
Una vez estoy llorando
Once I was praying,
en la banca,
I was at the
llegando
chair.
a la iglesia.
I was arriving to the
Mi
church.
mamá me llamaba.
My mom was calling me.
Ay, no me fui para casa a llorar.
Oh, and I didn't go home to cry.
Me fui a llorar a la presencia.
I
de
went to
Dios.
cry to the presence of God.
Ella me dice, Riquito,
She calls me Riquito.
me encontraron cáncer
And she said, Riquito, they found cancer in me,
en mi estómago.
in my stomach.
Tengo cáncer en las glándulas linfáticas también.
I have cancer also in my lymphatic glands.
Y yo orarle a Dios.
And I said, I'm going to pray to
Me
God.
fui a orar a Dios.
And I went to pray to God.
Empecé a llorar.
And I started crying.
Allí viene la hermanita.
And there comes the sister.
Así te dice Dios.
This is how God says.
Así te dice Dios.
This is how God says.
Apártate del pecado.
Separate from the sin.
Él quiere enjuagar tus lágrimas.
He wants to cleanse your tears.
Yo le iba a decir
I
algo.
was going to say something,
Lo que pasa es que yo siempre he sido maduro.
but I've always been mature.
Decía, hermana,
And I was going to say, sister,
¿quién te reveló mi pecado?
who revealed my sin to you?
Dios.
God.
Ok, ¿cuál
Okay.
es?
Which one is it?
Sí, porque si te lo reveló Dios me lo tienes que decir.
Yes, because if God revealed it to you, you have to tell me.
Pero dije nada.
But I said, nah.
La miré.
I looked at
Yo no
her
dije amén.
because I did not say amen.
Yo estaba llorando
I was crying
porque estaba frente a una prueba
because I was in front of a trial
donde mi mamá me acababa de llamar
where my mother had
Son
just
muchos
called
años
me.
ya.
This was many years ago
que la habían encontrado cáncer.
that they had found cancer.
Mi hermano destrozado.
My brother was
Mi
destroyed.
hermana por otro lado.
My sister on the other side
¿Sabes lo
too.
que hicieron?
You know what they did?
Ellos pusieron todo.
They put
Aquí
everything.
la solución
Here the solution
es Ricky.
is Ricky.
Eso fue lo que hicieron.
That's what they did.
Pero ellos hicieron lo correcto.
But they did what was correct.
Porque aunque no les servían, ellos sabían a quién yo les servía.
Because although they didn't serve him, they knew who I served.
Mi mamá está en su casa
My mother is in her house.
con sus achaques, ¿verdad? Pues,
You know, she has her illnesses, right?
está casi en los 80.
She's almost 80.
Pero allí está tranquila,
But there she is, calm,
creyendo en el poder de Dios.
believing in the power of God.
Te voy a dar, son 6 maneras, pero te
It's
voy a dar una.
6
Hoy.
ways, but today I'm going to give you one.
Y vuelvo a lo mismo.
And I go back to the same.
No es que estas son las únicas 6.
It's not that these are the only 6.
O sea, si no haces estas 6,
You know, if you don't do these 6,
no,
no,
te voy a dar 6 que yo entiendo.
I'm going to give you 6 that I
A lo
understand.
mejor tú tienes 20.
You probably have 20,
Yo te voy a dar 6.
but I'm going to give you 6.
Maneras,
6 ways,
escuche bien,
listen well,
que te van a ayudar
that are going to help you
a detectar
to detect
cuáles de aquellos ataques del diablo
which of those attacks of the devil
vienen de él.
are coming from him.
En tu vida
In
individual
your individual life,
como en la iglesia.
as in the church as
Te voy a
well.
dar la primera.
I'm going to give you the first one.
El diablo siempre elige
The devil always chooses
cuándo va a atacar
when he's going to attack
en el momento
in the moment
y el lugar
and the place
más débil tuyo.
that you have that is the weakest.
Dios
God
usa tu debilidad para fortalecerte.
uses your weakness so that he could
El
strengthen.
enemigo va a atacar
The enemy will
en
attack
tu debilidad
in your weakness
para destruirte.
to destroy you.
Primera de Reyes,
First of Kings,
verso 19,
verse 19,
verso 4 al 8.
chapter 19, verses 4 to 8.
Y se fue por el desierto un día de camino. Y vino y se sentó debajo de un enebro y deseando morirse, dijo: basta ya. Oh Jehová, quítame la vida. Y echándose debajo del enebro, se quedó dormido. Y he aquí luego un ángel le tocó y le dijo: levántate, come. Entonces él miró y he aquí a su cabecera una torta cocida sobre las ascuas y una vasija de agua. Y comió, bebió y volvió a dormirse. Y volviendo el ángel de Jehová la segunda vez, lo tocó diciendo: levántate, come, porque largo camino te resta. Se levantó pues y comió y bebió, y fortalecido con aquella, no la que tú quieres, con aquella comida caminó 40 días y 40 noches hasta Horeb, el monte de Dios.
While he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness, he came to a broom bush and sat under it and prayed that he may die. I have had enough, Lord, he said. Take my life. I am no better than my ancestors. Then he laid down under the bush and fell asleep. All at once, an angel touched him and said, get up and eat. He looked around, and there by his head was some baked bread over hot coals and a jar of water. He ate and he drank, and then he laid down again. The angel of the Lord came back a second time and touched him and said, get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you. So he got up and he ate and drank. Strengthened by that food, not the one that you want, strengthened by that food, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Horeb, the mountain of God.
Un hombre que venía de decirle a la lluvia, te para.
A man that had just come from saying to the rain, you stop.
De decirle al fuego, desciende.
From saying to the fire,
No
descend.
estamos hablando de uno que venía gulembiao.
We're not talking about one that was coming all week.
Pero a todos nos toca un momento de debilidad.
But it touches, all of us have a moment of weakness that
Déjame ver
touches
si
us.
puedes entender esto.
Let me see if you can understand this.
Tu debilidad,
Your weakness.
¿qué dice la palabra?
What does the word say?
¿Qué Dios va a hacer con tu debilidad?
What is God going to do with your weakness?
¿Te va a perfeccionar?
He's going to perfect
¿Te
you.
va a fortalecer?
He's going to strengthen you.
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Se va a glorificar.
He's going to glorify.
Tu momento de debilidad,
Your moment of weakness.
hay dos cosas que van a suceder.
There's two things that are going to
El
happen.
enemigo
The enemy
te va a atacar si lo hablas,
is going to attack you if you speak it.
pero Dios te va a fortalecer.
But God is going to strengthen
Entonces,
you.
mire lo que le sucede.
So look what happens.
Imagínate, tú y yo hacemos un servicio y vemos un par de milagros y llegamos a la casa que no dormimos.
Do you imagine? You and I come to a few services and we see miracles.
Damos
And
tres palabras de
we
ciencia y
get home
llegamos a-
that we can't even sleep.
Yo no sé usted,
We
pero yo
give
hablando de mí.
three words of wisdom and we arrive to our houses. I don't know about you, but I'm talking about me.
Lo que Dios hizo hoy.
You know what God did today.
Ahora
This and that.
imagínate.
Now imagine.
Detente lluvia,
Stop rain
como boricua.
as a Puerto Rican.
Llueve,
Rain.
para,
Stop.
llueve,
Rain.
para salir de duda.
Just to come out of that doubt.
¿No somos así nosotros?
Aren't we like that?
Sin embargo,
However,
se le da la palabra para destruir a todos aquellos profetas
he's given a word so that he could go and
Falsos.
destroy all of those false prophets.
y ahora está
And now he is
camino de un día
on the way,
sin comer ni beber agua.
a day away without eating
¿Qué
or
sucede si tú
drinking
no
water.
comes por 24
What
horas?
happens if you don't eat for 24
Ni
hours
tomas agua.
and you don't drink water?
Te debilitas.
You weaken.
Allí el hombre estaba débil.
There the man was weak.
Él no fue a hablar con el diablo.
He didn't go to talk with the devil.
Él le dijo a Dios,
He said to God,
estoy tan cansado,
I am so tired.
me siento tan débil
I feel so weak
que mejor sería morirme.
that it would be better
Porque
for me
en
to
tu
die.
presencia voy a estar mejor.
Because in your presence I would be better.
Pero el enemigo escuchó.
But the enemy heard it.
Y el enemigo va a atacar
And the enemy is going to attack
cuando él sabe que tú estás débil.
when he knows that you are weak.
El enemigo sabe cuando tú estás frustrado.
The enemy knows when you
El
are
enemigo
frustrated.
sabe cuando tú estás por una situación,
The
pasando por
enemy
una
knows
situación difícil.
when you are going through a difficult situation.
Sin embargo,
However,
Dios lo alimenta para fortalecerlo.
God feeds him so that he could strengthen him.
Pero después lo equipa por segunda vez para caminar 40
But then
días.
he equips him for the second time
No
for him to
mires
walk
ese
40
alimento
days.
como comida.
Don't look at that food like just food.
Lo alimentó espiritual.
He fed him
Le dijo,
spiritually.
te voy a dar la fuerza
He said, I will give you the strength
para caminar 40 días en
so
el
that
desierto.
you could walk 40 days in the desert.
Todo movimiento
Every
que
movement
te va a levantar
that is going to lift you up
te va a llevar a ti
will take you
a un proceso de
to a
batalla.
process.
Toda batalla.
Every battle
Esta es una de 6 que te voy a dar.
out
Esta
of
es
6
una
that I'm going to give you, this is
de las
one
que tú tienes que descubrir.
of the ones that you have to
Que
discover.
cuando viene un golpe
That
que
when a
te
strike comes
debilita,
that weakens
el
you,
enemigo va a estar ahí.
the enemy's going to be there.
Él va a estar ahí.
He will be
Él va a
there.
hacer que algo suceda.
He will make something
Cuando a mí
happen.
me pasó lo del carro,
When it happened to me, what
el
happened with the
enemigo se
car?
levantó.
The enemy rose up.
Él no me lo dañó.
He
El
didn't
enemigo se
damage it,
levantó
but the enemy did
a
rise up
trabajarme aquí,
to work here,
aquí.
here.
Porque él sabía que si me vencía aquí,
Because he knew that if he would defeat me
yo tenía que
here,
volver a empezar.
I had to start once again.
Pero yo no le hice caso.
But I didn't pay
Porque
attention
ya yo lo conocía.
because I already
Ya yo
knew him.
sabía. Mira, Babi,
I already knew. I said, look, man,
tú eres un guirero.
you're just one that likes to take
Tú no haces
advantage
más que
of
ver que
people.
uno está
As soon as
rápido
you see
vienes a chaval.
that we're like, you come and start bothering.
Así que te me vas.
So you have to leave.
La pregunta es,
The question is,
que todos podemos hacer.
that we all can do.
¿Cómo puede ser que semejante profeta
How could it be that a prophet such as him,
le estuviera sucediendo esto?
this was happening to him?
Estamos hablando de un hombre que
We're talking about a man that
controló la naturaleza.
he controlled nature.
¿Sabe?
You know,
Caminando, atacado por el sol,
walking, attacked by the sun,
siendo conmovido por pensamientos humanos,
being moved by the human thoughts,
siendo atacado
being attacked
por sus debilidades.
by his weaknesses.
Iba donde Dios.
And he goes to God.
¿Y qué Dios le dio?
And what did God say?
Tu problema no es el problema tuyo es que tienes hambre.
Your problem is that you're hungry.
Por eso no ayune para estar mareado, ayune
That's why
para
don't fast to be
fortalecerse.
fainting and dizzy everywhere. No, fast so
No
that you
ayune
can be
para estar
strengthened.
pálido, ayune para el que está en el espíritu.
Don't fast to be all pale. No, fast to be in the spirit.
En los momentos más débiles,
In the weakest moments,
el enemigo se va a agarrar
the enemy is going to grab one
para atacarte,
so that he will attack
para
you, to
perjudicarte.
damage you.
Por eso,
That's why
la palabra dice
the word
en
says
Joel 3:10,
in Joel 3:10,
forjen espadas con los asadones y hagan lanzas con las hoces. Que diga el cobarde, soy valiente.
beat your plowshares into swords and pruning hooks into spears. Let the weakling say, I am strong.
No ignores sus maquinaciones.
Do not ignore his schemes.
Esos pensamientos que él te quiere traer de que tú no puedes,
Those thoughts that he wants to bring to you
de que
that
tú
you
te quieres
can't do
superar y
it,
no lo logras,
that you want to overcome but you cannot accomplish it,
de que tú oras.
that you pray.
Mira, hermano,
Look, brothers,
vamos a dejar de bobera.
let's stop with all that foolishness.
Los que oran me van a entender.
Those that pray are going to understand me.
A veces tú estás 3 horas
Sometimes you are praying for 3
y tú
hours
te levantas
and you get up
como si hubieras estado viendo una película
like if you would have been watching a movie,
de matanza.
a movie where there was
Porque
a
te
lot of
levantas con unos
killings.
pensamientos que tú dices,
Because you get back up with some thoughts
Dios
that you
reprenda
say.
al diablo.
The Lord rebuked the
llevo
devil.
2 horas y pico ahí.
I've been 2 and a
Y me
half
levanté
hours
como
there,
nada.
and I woke up like nothing.
Lo que tú no estabas entendiendo,
What you were not understanding
que esas 2 horas y pico,
is that those 2.5 hours,
tu pensamiento no cambió,
your thoughts didn't change,
pero fortaleciste tu espíritu
but you strengthen your spirit
para cuando viene el cambio mental.
so that when the mental change comes,
Porque esas 2 horas y pico,
because those 2.5
Dios
hours,
está diciendo,
God is saying
tiene un reward.
a reward is coming.
Lo voy a recompensar.
I will reward him.
Cuando viene la batalla,
When the battle comes,
estás lleno.
you are full.
Pero si tú vas a orar
But if you're going to
y
pray
te crees
and you think
que todo el tiempo
that all the
se te
time
van a parar los pelos,
you're going to get goosebumps,
vas a sentir a Dios,
you're going to feel God,
Dios te va a hablar,
God is gonna
vas a
speak
ver
to you.
ángeles,
You're gonna see
vas a ver,
angels.
te equivocaste.
you've gotten it wrong.
Porque el día que tú logres eso,
Because the day that you accomplish
tú
that,
controlas a Dios
you control God.
y Él te va a controlar a ti.
And he is going to control you.
Hay oraciones
There's prayers.
que después las vamos a ver también.
Later on, we're going to see them too.
Son los ataques que hace
They're
el
the
enemigo.
attacks that the enemy does.
Entonces tú tienes que levantarte
So you have to rise up
y creerle a Dios.
and you have to believe God.
Allá en Lucas 4, versos 2 y 3, usted lo lee en su casa.
In Luke 4, verses 2 and 3, but you could read it at home.
Vas a ver cómo el enemigo lanza un feroz ataque.
You're going to see how the enemy launched a furious attack.
Pero el Señor tiene todos los recursos espirituales
But the Lord has all of the spiritual resources
para tu vencer.
for you to be able to
Hay
overcome
veces
and conquer.
que he
There's
tenido
times
que irme de rodillas.
that I've had to
Yo.
kneel down. Me.
Ayer vi 3 mensajes corridos.
Yesterday I saw 3 messages in a row
Después que llegué de donde llegué.
after I arrived from where I was at.
Porque sabía que necesitaba un poquito de vitamina.
Because I knew that I needed a little bit of vitamins.
No podía llegar a dormir.
I couldn't arrive to sleep.
Ni podía llegar a estar
I couldn't
picando la
arrive
piedra. Tenía
to just be
que
sinning a little. I had to
meterle un poquito de vitamina C.
put a little vitamin C.
Hay veces que yo me pongo a orar así.
There's times that I start praying like this.
Señor,
Lord,
se lo digo en mi mente.
I say this in
O
my
hay cosas que
mind
tú no quieres hablar para que el enemigo no las escuche.
because there's things that you don't want to speak so that the enemy doesn't hear them.
Señor,
Lord,
no estoy entendiendo nada
I am not understanding
de lo que
anything
está pasando.
of what is going on.
Sí estoy seguro que tú estás,
I am sure that you are here,
pero yo no estoy entendiendo
but I'm not understanding anything.
Mira estos pensamientos
Look at these thoughts
que vienen.
that come.
Y ahí me callo.
And there I was quiet.
Pasa una hora,
An hour went by.
pasan 2 horas,
2 hours went by.
pasan 3 horas.
3 hours.
Es porque yo no soy los que busca a Dios que en 15 minutos me hable.
Because I'm not one that seeks for God to speak to me in 15 minutes.
4 horas.
4 hours.
Y me levanto y digo, Señor, me cansé.
And I got up and I said, Lord, I got tired.
Me duelen los pies,
My feet hurt.
me duele la espalda.
My back hurts.
Tú no quieres hablar.
You don't want to talk.
Bregamos después entonces.
We'll
así.
deal with it later on then.
Vamos a hacer unos huevitos con papa.
I'm going to make some eggs and potatoes for myself.
No me molesto con Dios.
I don't get upset with God.
Él sabe lo que está haciendo.
He knows what he's doing.
Él sabe cuándo me va a hablar.
He knows when he's going to talk
Ya
to
yo
me.
le presenté mi problema.
I already presented my problem to him.
La solución la tiene Él.
The solution, he's the one that
Entonces yo
has
tengo que
it.
esperar en Él.
So I have to wait in him.
Yo tengo que esperar el momento que Él diga esa hora.
I have to wait for the moment that he says it's
¿Sabes por
now.
qué, hermano?
Do you know why, brothers?
Porque el enemigo va a atacarte
Because the enemy is going to attack you,
y más cuando estás solo.
and even more when you're alone.
Por eso necesitamos usar ese gran código
That's why we need to use that great code
que se llama lobo
that is called the
o el
wolf,
código de una manada de lobos.
or the code of a herd of wolf,
¿Sabe? Hay
a
veces
wolf pack.
que los animales yo los veo con más inteligencia que el ser humano.
There's times that I see the animals with more intelligence than the human beings.
Oye, usted me perdona, pero es verdad.
And you're going to forgive me, but it's
La
true.
hormiga no tiene líder y saben trabajar.
The ants don't have a leader, but they know how to work.
Ay. Yo no lo estoy comparando con usted con un animal.
I'm not comparing you with an animal.
Yo dije
I said
que hay veces
that there's
que
times
los animales
that the animals,
actúan más inteligentes
they act more intelligent
que el ser humano.
than the human beings.
Mira el código de estos animales,
Look
de
at-
una manada.
Look at the code of a wolf pack.
Los primeros 3
The first 3
son los más viejos
are the oldest
y los enfermos.
and the ones that are sick.
Van al frente.
They go in the front.
Los veteranos,
The veterans,
a veces la bala le quiere, el pájaro le quiere tirar la escopeta.
sometimes, you know,
¿No sabes ese refrán?
sometimes the
El
bullets
pajarito
wanna,
le quiere tirar a la escopeta.
sometimes the birds want to try to shoot the rifle,
The shotgun.
the shotgun.
Sí, porque a veces la experiencia
Yes, because sometimes the
se aprenden
experience,
5 versos,
they learn 5 verses.
tienen un poquito de experiencia
They have a little bit of
y
experience.
quieren decirle al de la
And then
experiencia
they want to say to the one of the experience
cómo hacerlo.
how to do it.
¿Sabe cuál es la excusa?
Do you know what the excuse
No
is?
todos somos iguales.
We're not all the same.
No, es que tú no has alcanzado este
No, no.
nivel y
It's
no lo
that you have
entiendes.
not reached this level and you don't understand it.
Esos van al frente.
Those go ahead.
Ellos marcan el paso de la manada.
They are marking the path of the wolf pack.
Luego siguen en la fila los 5 más fuertes.
Then in that line follows the 5 that are the strongest.
Allí va el veterano,
You know, the veterans are in the front,
los enfermos.
the ones that are sick.
Y aquí están los leales de David.
And over here you have the loyal ones of David.
Juventud,
That are,
poder,
they're young, they have
fortaleza,
power, they have strength.
guerreros,
They're warriors.
velando.
Watching.
Yo no sé el camino,
I don't know the path,
pero el que intervenga me lo como.
but whoever intervenes into this, I'm going to eat them up.
Por eso se necesita gente leal,
That's why you need loyal people,
fuerte,
strong,
jóvenes,
young,
que digan, él está viejo,
that
pero
are going to say, he is old, but
si te cruza,
if you cross,
te acabamos.
we're going to finish off with
Porque
you.
yo tengo fuerza, pero no sé el camino. Él sí.
Because I have the strength, but I
Oh
don't know
my
the path.
God.
He does.
Empieza a agarrar, empieza a
Start
agarrar.
grabbing this, grab it.
Por donde yo voy a pasar, ya
Where
él
I'm
sabe.
going to go through, he already knows.
Sabe dónde están los hoyos,
He
sabe
knows
dónde hay
where the holes are.
trampas.
He knows where the traps are set.
En el centro,
In the center, in the middle,
escuche bien,
listen well,
va la mayoría de la manada,
the majority of the wolf pack is there,
la congregación.
the congregation.
Hermano,
Brothers,
no trate de dirigir
don't try to direct
si usted es manada.
if you are part of the wolf pack.
Van en el centro.
They're in the center.
¿Quién van al frente? ¿Quién van al frente?
Who are the ones that are going in the front?
Los más viejos
The oldest
y los enfermos.
and the sick.
Detrás de los del centro,
And behind the ones that are in the middle and the center,
siguiéndolos,
following
el segundo grupo.
the second group.
¿Cuál es el segundo grupo?
What is the second group?
Oh my God. Por eso se necesitan jóvenes con hambre.
That's why you need youth that are hungry.
El segundo grupo
The second group
es el que va. Son los sucesores.
They
Son
are the
los que
ones that are
están.
going to be the
¿Cómo lo están
successors.
haciendo esta gente?
How are these people doing it?
¿Cómo ponen las manos?
How are they laying
¿Cómo
hands?
hablan?
How do
¿Cómo
they speak?
oran?
How do they pray?
Por eso,
That's why
cuando tuvo un sucesor
when you see a
que quiere
successor
traer técnicas nuevas,
that wants to bring new techniques,
no es de ese equipo.
he is not of that team.
¿Cómo lo hace Cántico Nuevo?
How does Cántico Nuevo do it?
¿Cómo se predica? ¿Cómo
How do they
enseña?
preach? How do they teach?
¿Cómo oran?
How
¿Cómo
do they pray?
ministran?
How do they
¿Cómo
minister?
esto?
How do they do this?
Porque el que viene
Because the one that's coming
está viendo que en enfrente van los de
is
experiencia,
seeing
los
that those in the
enfermos,
front are
los
going the ones
viejos.
of experience, the ones that are sick, the old people.
Pero detrás de ellos va un grupo
But
fuerte.
behind them, a strong group is
Pero
going.
todavía no son los sucesores.
But they're still not the successors.
Son los fuertes.
They are the strong
Porque el
ones.
segundo grupo es el sucesor.
Because the second
Porque
group
el
are the ones that
primer
are the
grupo
successors.
fuerte
The first
está velando los
strong
que han
group
levantado,
are
los que
watching
son las
those that
columnas,
have
los que
lifted up,
son la
those that are the
estamina,
pillars, those
los
that are
que
the
son los que
stamina,
están haciendo
those
lo
that are
que
doing.
estos van a pelear.
These are going to fight.
Estos ya están en aprendizaje.
These are in the learning process.
Luego siguiéndolos el segundo grupo
And after following them, the second group
de otros
of others,
5 lobos fuertes.
5 strong wolves.
Va los sucesores,
You have the successors.
pero vienen 5 más,
But then 5 more come,
velando que los sucesores
watching that the
no
successors
sean confundidos ni
are
lastimados,
not confused or hurt.
ni se desvíen.
And for them to not divert.
Porque este grupo
Because
depende de que
this
este
group
alcance cuando
depends
aquellos
on
no
that one
estén.
reaching when those other over there are not there anymore.
El que va último,
Those that are last,
oh my God, va solo
they go alone.
y va a una distancia.
And he is going at a distance.
El retrato se ve brutal.
The picture looks tremendous.
Va a una
He
distancia,
is going at a
a una
distance
posición
in a position
que puede ver
where he can see
la manada completa.
the whole wolf pack.
¿Y sabe quién es
And
ese?
do you know who he is?
El alfa.
He is the alpha.
Ese
That one.
va viendo que el segundo grupo no quiere pasársele al.
He is making sure that the second group does not want to go
Que los
beyond.
fuertes están protegiendo al
That
débil, no
the strong
aplastándolo.
are protecting the weak and not smashing them down.
Ese está mirando si hay alguien en el segundo
He is
grupo
looking to see if there's somebody in the second group
que quiere talento y no pasión.
that has talent and not passion.
Y siempre se mantiene a la distancia.
And he always remains at a distance.
Entienda que los alfa
Understand that the alphas
no siempre están en grupo.
are not always in a group.
El alfa
The alpha
siempre va a velar.
is always going to watch.
¿Por qué aquel entró de esa forma?
Why did he enter that way?
¿Por qué el que dice que está fuerte no me está ayudando al enfermo?
Why the one that says that he is strong is not
¿Por
helping
qué,
that one that is
por qué
weak?
el que tiene llamado no me está visitando al débil?
Why that one that has a calling is not visiting the weak?
¿Por qué el que dice que tiene pasión de
Why that
evangelizar
one that says that they
este
have the
año no se ha
passion of
ganado ni un
evangelizing?
gato?
This year they have not won over not even a cat.
Dígame.
Tell me.
¿Por qué el que tiene pasión por la obra
Why the one that has the passion for the ministry
no ha entendido ya de una
has
vez y
not
por
already
todas
understood once and for all
que está haciendo muchas cosas que Dios no lo llamó a hacer?
that they're doing a lot of things that God has not called them to do?
¿O tú te crees que observar de atrás,
Or do you think that observing from the
de
back,
allí,
from the
es
back,
que no
from
quiero
there,
orar, que no quiero
it's that
adorar?
I don't want to
que no
pray
quiero
or I don't
levantar
want to
las
worship or I
manos?
don't want to lift up my hands?
Si cuando tú te estás preparando,
When you are getting
ya
prepared,
yo estoy aquí.
I'm already here.
Cuando tú llegas a decir ¿y qué?
When you arrive to say,
Ya yo hice lo que tú estás pensando.
I already did what you are thinking.
Lo que pasa es que yo no busco crédito.
What happens is that I don't seek for any credit.
Pero el pararme allí,
But for me to stand back there
para que ya lo sepa,
so that you could know,
no es para criticar.
it's not to criticize.
No, no.
No.
Es para ver quién está débil.
It's to see who is weak.
Para ver quién de esto está haciendo el trabajo por talento, por
To see
pasión.
which one of these is doing the job because of talent or
A ver
because of
qué
passion.
líder
To see what
quiere
leader
orar por la gente
wants to pray for the
cuando
people.
está entretenido aquí al frente
But when
o
they're
allá atrás
entertained
o
here in the
allí.
front or back there or
A ver qué
over there.
ministro quiere orar.
To see what minister wants
Porque
to
yo le voy a
pray.
decir algo a usted y
Because
se lo
I'm
voy a
going
decir
to
con
tell you
respeto.
something and I'm going to say it with respect.
Se van a tener que dejar de estar cuidando muchachos.
You're going to have to stop taking care of
Esa
kids.
cuidar de muchachos aquí.
That taking care of
Van a
kids
tener que
here,
eliminarla
you're
para
going to
ayudarme a
have
orar
to
a mí y
eliminate it
ministrar
so
por la
that you
gente.
could help me to pray and minister for the people.
O eres adorador para
Either
ayudarme
you're
o
a
eres
worshiper
babysitter.
to help me or you're a babysitter.
Babysitter.
Babysitter,
Allá atrás.
go to the back.
Es que tú no puedes ir al frente si estás entretenido.
You cannot be going in the front if you're entertained.
No te lo acabo de decir.
Didn't I just say it?
¿Quiénes van al frente?
Who are the ones that go in the front?
La experiencia.
The experience.
Qué triste.
How sad.
Ese es como el conejito cuando se acaba el quiz.
You know, that's like the bunny when the quick, there's no more quick left.
Allá atrás
Back there,
estoy clamando,
I am pleading,
viendo las atmósferas,
seeing the atmospheres,
viendo qué está pasando.
seeing what's happening.
¿Quién está coordinado? ¿Quién no está
Who is
coordinado?
coordinated and who is not?
¿Quién está pendiente?
Who's paying attention?
¿Quién no está pendiente?
Who's not paying attention?
¿Sí o no?
Yes or no?
Después que vi eso,
After I saw that,
me puse a buscar la información.
I started looking for information.
Porque yo te leo esas cosas, pero busco la información.
Because I read those things, but I look for the information.
Dice
It says
que si el que está enfrente,
that if the one that's going in the front,
que es el más viejo,
who is the oldest,
se detiene,
stops
se entretiene,
or gets
se
entertained
sale.
or comes out,
La manada no puede parar
the pack cannot stop
hasta que el alfa
until the alpha
da la orden.
gives the order.
Y si van a detenerse,
And if they're going to stop,
que el alfa no ha mandado a
and the
detenerse,
alpha has not said for them to stop,
uno
one
de los enfermos
of those that are
le
sick
deja saber a uno de los fuertes.
will let know
Uno
one
de
of the
los
strong
fuertes
ones, and one of the strong ones
Comienza a caminar al lado de la manada,
will start walking next to the
más
pack,
lento,
slower
hasta llegar al alfa.
until he makes it to the alpha
Y le dice, hay necesidad de detenernos
and says there's a need for us to stop
porque hay un compañero herido.
because we have one of our companions that is wounded.
Si él dice que no,
If he says no,
no se pueden parar.
they cannot stop.
Ustedes,
You,
los que tienen animales,
those that have animals,
cuando su perro,
when does your dog,
usted va corriendo,
you are running,
caminando
walking,
y hace sus necesidades?
and he does his necessities?
Digo, los que tienen animales,
I'm
los que lo
talking
llevan a
to those
caminar.
that have
O usted no lo
animals.
lleva a caminar.
Those that go and walk
El
your
pejo usted tiene
animals.
toile.
Does your dog have a toilet?
Él se tiene que parar.
He has to stop.
Es una orden
It's an order
que a los que van al frente
that those that are going in the
y a
front
los que van atrás
and those that are going in the back,
tienen que aprender
they have to learn
a hacer sus necesidades
how to do their necessities
con el ritmo
with the rhythm
que van corriendo.
that they're running with.
No dice eso
Doesn't that say
en una historia de la palabra
in a story of the word
que habían unos con espada,
that there were some with a sword,
clamaban a Dios,
that they were pleading out to God?
pero si había que parar de clamar,
But if they had to stop pleading out to
no era para
God,
descansar,
it
era
was
para
not
qué?
to rest. It was for what?
Para pelear.
To fight.
¿Qué te quiero decir con esto?
What am I trying to say with this?
Vienen ataques
Attacks do
que
come
va a querer
that are going to want
descomponer
to decompose
la iglesia.
the church.
¿Quién manda más? ¿Quién
Who
manda
rules
menos?
more? Who
¿Quién
rules
sabe
less?
más?
Who
¿Quién
knows
sabe
more?
menos?
Who knows less?
¿Qué tiene aquel? ¿Qué no
What
tiene
does that
aquel?
person have? What does that person doesn't have?
El enemigo sabe
The enemy knows
cómo colarse en las manadas.
how to seep into the packs.
Si cogen a un fuerte
If they get a strong one
de la manada
of the pack,
en el medio,
if he is caught in the middle,
el alfa lo mata.
the alpha will kill him.
Porque si te llamas fuerte
Because if you're calling yourself
para
strong,
estar con changuería,
to be with childishness,
Mantente en el medio.
Remain in the middle.
Si no tienes pasión,
If you don't have passion,
mantente en el medio.
remain in the middle.
Que otro te dirija.
Let somebody else direct
otro
you.
te guíe.
Let somebody else
Y
guide you.
permítele a Dios
And allow God
que te levante.
to lift you up
En el nombre de
in
Jesús.
the name of Jesus.
Aurelia tiene
Aurelia
depresión y ansiedad.
has depression and anxiety
Y no quiere comer.
and doesn't want to eat.
¿Se están dando cuenta
Do you notice
lo que el enemigo hace?
what the enemy
¿Se
does?
están dando cuenta
Are you
que
noticing
se necesita una iglesia de poder y en orden?
that we need a church of power and in
Se
order?
necesitan los que oran,
We
se
need those that
necesitan los
pray.
intercesores,
We
se
need the
necesitan los que
intercessors.
trabajan detrás
We
del
need
telón,
those that
se
work behind
necesitan
the
los que
curtain.
ayunan,
We need
se
those that
necesitan los
fast.
que tienen
We need
poder.
the ones that have power,
Pero muchos están buscando que los vean.
but many are just seeking to just be seen.
El alfa,
The Alpha,
nadie lo ve.
nobody sees
Él
him.
ve a todo el mundo.
He sees everybody.
Los líderes fuertes
The strong leaders
y genuinos
and genuine ones
no necesitan ser vistos.
do not need to be seen.
Ellos velan
They watch
por la grey.
for the flock.
No necesitan crédito.
They don't
No
need
necesitan que les digan.
They don't need to be
Ellos
told.
velan.
They watch.
Ese es el trabajo
You see, that's the work
de un liderazgo.
of the leaders.
Padre